What's up, party people? This is the Who Asked You podcast. I am your host, Duty to Groovy, and welcome to it's not the first, but I'm going to be focusing more on spiritual science, more than I've been doing with, I don't want to say conspiracy theories because they're all facts, but, we've been digging into the deep state a lot. And I'm kind of in teacher mode. Like, I want to learn more and perfect my knowledge so I can teach the people, because I am transforming. I am performing alchemy on myself, developing my mind, body, spirit, and finances. And I am manifesting myself into a spiritual science teacher. So I'm going harder on my research. And the very first lesson on this new beginning is going to be microbiology. So I am going to hold on. Let me send this out one more time before I get started, and I'm gonna let some people come into the building. But this is gonna be really dope. I've worked really, really hard on this, and I wish I had got it done quicker, but you know how that goes. Tap in live now. All right. All it takes is one. I'm about to go in. Let me share my screen. We about to get into it. So let me hit the slideshow, and I'm about to hit the ground running. Okay, the link in the bio, identifying patented crisis by Studi 2 Groovy. So we're going to break down, what is a cell? It is the basic structural, functional, and biological unit of all known organisms. A cell is the smallest unit of life. Cells are often called the building blocks of life. The structure of a cell. Cells consist of cytoplasm enclosed within a membrane which contains many biomolecules such as proteins and nucleic acids. What is a biomolecule? They are molecules present in organisms that are essential to one or more, typically biological processes such as cell division, morphogenesis, or development. Biomolecules include large macromolecules or polyanions such as proteins. Small molecules such as primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. Most biomolecules are organic compounds, and just four elements, oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen, make up 96% of the human body's mass. And here's a picture of the different types of biomolecules. We got lipids, nucleic acids, carbohydrates, and proteins. Two types of cells: eukaryotic, which contain a nucleus, and prokaryotic, which do not. Prokaryotes are single-celled organisms, and eukaryotes can be either single-celled or multicellular. Prokaryotes include bacteria and archaea, two of the three domains of life. Prokaryotic cells were the first form of life on Earth, characterized by having vital biological processes, including cell signaling. They are simpler and smaller than eukaryotic cells and lack a nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. The DNA of a prokaryotic cell consists of a single circular chromosome that is in direct contact with the cytoplasm. So, eukaryotes. These are organisms whose cells have a nucleus enclosed within a membrane. Eukaryotic cells contain other membrane-bound or organelles such as mitochondria. Remember the mitochondria EG, and the Golgi apparatus. And in addition, some cells of plants and algae contain chloroplasts. Prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Here's a prokaryote. There's the nucleoid, the cell wall, the capsule, the flagellum. These are in plants. These are in humans. Cytoplasm, mitochondrion, Golgi, chloroplast, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, nuclear membrane, nucleus, nucleus, cytoplasmic membrane. So, what is cytoplasm? It is the material or protoplasm within a living cell, excluding the nucleus. The main components of the cytoplasm are cytosol, a gel-like substance, the organelles, the cell's internal substructures, and various cytoplasmic inclusions. And remember that I want to say Dr. Shiva has like a cure that's called cytosol. If anybody in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong, or I know it's called cytosol, but I'm confused on which doctor it was. I'm pretty sure it was Dr. Shiva, but I could be wrong. But let's move on. Membrane. The cell membrane is a biological membrane that separates the interior of all cells from the outside environment, the extracellular space, which protects the cell from its environment. The cell membrane controls the movement of the substances inside, in and out of cells and organelles. In this way, it is selectively permeable to ions and organic molecules. Here's the structure of a cell membrane. We got the cholesterol, the outer face, the inner face, sugar side chain, integral proteins, peripheral proteins, hydrophobic fatty acid tail of phospholipid, and the hydrophilic head of phospholipids. So, unicellular organism. What is that? Unicellular organisms are thought to be the oldest form of life. Unicellular fungi include yeast. Multicellular organisms are organisms that consist of more than one cell. All species of animals, land plants, and most fungi are multicellular. And here are 6 eukaryotic groups: animals, fungi, brown algae, red algae, green algae, and land plants. And here are some multicellular organisms, from plants to land animals to sea animals. And here are the different types of cells. We've got nerve cells, red blood cells, smooth muscle, fat cells, intestinal, I cannot read that word, cells, muscle cells, bone tissues, loose connective tissues with fibroblasts. Okay, so what is acellular life? Life that exists without a cellular structure for at least part of its life cycle. Primary candidates for non-cellular life are viruses. What is a microbe? A microorganism or microbe is a microscopic organism which may exist in its single cell form or in a colony of cells. Here are living cells, parasites, protozoa, fungi, which is like athlete's foot, prokaryote, which is leprosy, and here's acellular, non-living. It's a virus like AIDS and prion, CJD. Remember, we were talking about prion disease from like eating brains that Kuru in the cannibalism adrenochrome lecture. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Somebody's sorry. Okay, microbiology. Microbiology is the study of microorganisms, those being unicellular, multicellular, or acellular. What is a microorganism? A microscopic organism, especially a bacterium, virus, or fungus. Structure of prokaryotes. Advanced. Cell envelope. Enclosing the cell is a cell envelope generally consisting of a plasma membrane covered by a cell wall, which, for some bacteria, may be further covered by a third layer called a capsule. Though most prokaryotes have both a cell membrane and a cell wall, there are exceptions such as mycoplasma, bacteria, and thermoplasma, archaea, which only possess the cell membrane layer. The envelope gives rigidity to the cell and separates the interior of the cell from its environment, serving as a protective filter. The cell wall consists of peptide oglycan in bacteria and acts as an additional barrier against exterior forces. It also prevents the cell from expanding and bursting, cytolysis, from osmotic pressure due to hypotonic environment. Some eukaryotic cells, plant cells, and fungal cells also have a cell wall. And here's just an example of it. And that word is very, very hard, but as you can see, that's what I just explained. Moving on, cytoplasmic region. Inside the cell is the cytoplasmic region that contains the genome, which is DNA, ribosines, and various sorts of inclusions. The genetic material is freely found in the cytoplasm. Prokaryotes can carry extra chromosomal DNA, elements called plasmids, which are usually circular. And I apologize, they're doing their fireworks and all that out here. Linear bacterial plasmids have been identified in several species of spiral-shaped bacteria, including members of the genus Borrelia, notably Borrelia burgdorferi, which causes Lyme disease. Though not forming a nucleus, the DNA is condensed in a nucleoid. Plasmids encode additional genes such as antibiotic-resistant genes. And here's just a visual of what we were talking about. See the extracellular region, cytoplasmic region, all that good stuff. So, flagella and pili. On the outside, flagella and pili project from the cell surface. These are structures not present in all prokaryotes, made of proteins that facilitate movement and communication between cells. Here's the cell wall, the plasmid, the ribosomes, the pili, cytoplasm, slime capsule. The nucleoid contains the genospore, cell membrane, and there's a flagella. And here is even a deeper description of that, of the tail. Eukaryotic cells. Plants, animals, fungi, slime molds, protozoa, and algae are all eukaryotic. These cells are about 15 times wider than a typical prokaryote and can be as much as 1,000 times greater in volume. The main distinguishing feature of eukaryotes as compared to prokaryotes is compartmentalization, the presence of membrane-bound organelles compartments in which specific activities take place. Most important among these is a cell nucleus, an organelle that houses the cell's DNA. This nucleus gives the eukaryote its name, which means true kernel nucleus. Eukaryote structure. The plasma membrane resembles that of prokaryotes in function, with minor differences in the setup. Cell walls may or may not be present. The eukaryotic DNA is organized in one or more linear molecules called chromosomes, which are associated with histone proteins. All chromosomal DNA is stored in the cell nucleus, separated from the cytoplasm by a membrane. Some eukaryotic organelles, such as mitochondria, also contain some DNA. Many eukaryotic cells are ciliated with primary cilia. Primary cilia play important roles in chemosensation, mechanosensation, and thermosensation. Now, that's chemical sensation, mechanical sensation, which is like movement, or touch, and thermal sensation, which is cold, heat, warm, that type of thing. Each cilium may thus be viewed as a sensory cellular antenna that coordinates a large number of cellular signaling pathways, sometimes coupling the signaling to ciliary motility or alternatively to cell division and differentiation. Motile eukaryotes can move using motile cilia or flagella. Motile cells are absent in conifers and flowering plants. Eukaryotic flagella are more complex than those of prokaryotic. I'm going to take a drink of water. So types of eukaryotes, fungi, plants, and animals. Now let's get into bacteria. It constitutes a large domain of prokaryotic microorganisms, typically a few micrometers in length. Bacteria have a number of shapes ranging from spears to rods and spirals. Bacteria were among the first life forms to appear on Earth and are present in most of its habitats. Bacteria live in symbiotic and parasitic relationships with plants and animals. Bacteria growth process. It increases in cell size, which is cell growth, and reproduction by cell division are tightly linked in unicellular organisms. Bacteria grow to a fixed size and then reproduce through binary fission, a form of asexual reproduction. Bacteria can grow, and divide extremely rapid, and bacterial populations can double as quickly as every 9.8 minutes. Now let's go through this. We have the binary fission, then the DNA replication, chromosome segregation, cytokinesis. And then we have the mitosis, the diploid cell, going to the S phase, and now they're separated into two. Meiosis, there we go. And I'm going to be going through each of these, so don't worry about it. 4 phases in bacterial growth. When a population of bacteria first enter a high nutrient environment that allows growth, the cells need to adapt to their new environment. There are 4 phases. Phase 1, lag phase. The first phase of growth is the lag phase, a period of slow growth when the cells are adapting to the high nutrient environment and preparing for fast growth. The lag phase has high biosynthesis rates as proteins necessary for rapid growth are produced. Phase 2, logarithmic phase. The second phase of growth is the logarithmic phase, also known as the exponential phase. The log phase is marked by rapid exponential growth. The rate at which cells grow during this phase is known as the growth rate K, and the time it takes the cells to double is known as the generation time G. During log phase, nutrients are metabolized at maximum speed until one of the nutrients is depleted and starts limiting growth. Phase 3, stationary phase. The third phase of growth is the stationary phase and is caused by depleted nutrients. The cells reduce their metabolic activity and consume non-essential cellular proteins. The stationary phase is a transition from rapid growth to a stress response state, and there is increased expression of genes involved in DNA repair, antioxidant metabolism, and nutrient transport. Phase 4, death phase. The final phase is the death phase, where the bacteria run out of nutrients and die. So, reversible attachment of planktonic cells. First colonizers become irreversibly attached. Growth and cell division, which takes hours or days. production of EPS and formation of water channels, and then attachment of secondary colonizers and dispersion of microbes to new sites. So now we're going to watch a video, which we will watch bacteria and fungi cell growth in time lapse. Pay attention how it kind of looks like a universe in a star system. See, those kind of look like planets or galaxies. That kind of looks like a placenta, to be honest, or like a tree, a lotus. Okay, so bacterial movement, flagella. Many bacteria are motile, able to move themselves. The best studied of these are flagella, long filaments that are turned by a motor at the base to generate propeller-like movement. The bacterial flagellum is made of about 20 proteins, with approximately another 30 proteins required for its regulation and assembly. The flagellum is a rotating structure driven by a reversible motor at the base that uses the electrochemical gradient across the membrane for power. It seems like all life, and I'm going to be going into this on another lecture, I promise. It seems like all life has an electrical current, or most, if not all life. But and here's a diagram of what I'll be talking about. Bacteria can use flagella in different ways to generate different kinds of movement. Many bacteria, such as E. coli, have two distinct modes of movement: forward movement, swimming, and tumbling. The tumbling allows them to reorient and make their movement a three-dimensional random walk. Bacterial species differ in the number and arrangement of flagella on their surface. Some have single flagellum, monotrichous, a flagellum at each end, amphitrichous, clusters of flagella at the poles of the cell, lophotrichous, while others have flagella distributed over the entire surface of the cell. That's such a peritrious. Bacterial communication. A few bacteria have chemical systems that generate light. This bioluminescence often occurs in bacteria that live in association with fish, and the light probably serves to attract fish or other large animals. Bacteria often function as multicellular aggregates known as biofilms, exchanging a variety of molecular signals for intercell communication and engaging in coordinated multicellular behavior. QUORA sensing. One type of intercellular communication by a molecular signal is called quorum sensing, which serves the purpose of determining whether there is a local population density that is sufficiently high that it is productive to invest in processes that are only successful if large numbers of similar organisms behave similarly, as in excreting digestive enzymes or emitting light. Quorum sensing allows bacteria to coordinate gene expression and enables them to produce, release, and detect autoinducers or pheromones, which accumulate with the growth in cell population. And here is a video showing some quorum sensing. Very short. Y'all see how that wasn't even visible? And now they're taking on the same exact pigment as that bacteria. Pretty cool. Bacteria are symbiotic. These symbiotic associations can be divided into parasitism, mutualism, and commensalism. Commensal. Due to their small size, commensal bacteria are ubiquitous and grow on animals and plants exactly as they would grow on any other surface. However, their growth can be increased by warmth and sweat, and large populations of these organisms in humans are the cause of body odor. So when you're musty, you got a lot of bacteria on you. Predatory. Some species of bacteria kill and then consume other microorganisms. These species are called predatory bacteria. These include organisms such as Myxococcus xanthus, which form swarms of cells that kill and digest any bacteria they encounter. Other bacterial predators either attach to their prey in order to digest them and absorb nutrients, such as the Vibrio chlorella voris, or invade another cell and multiply inside the cytosol, such as Daptobacter. And mutual. Certain bacteria form close spatial associations that are essential for their survival. One such mutualistic association, called interspecies hydrogen transfer, occurs between clusters of anaerobic bacteria that consume organic acids such as butyric acid or propionic acid and produce hydrogen, and methanogenic archaea that consumes hydrogen. Human example. Many other bacteria are found as symbionts in humans and other organisms. For example, the presence of over 1,000 bacterial species in the normal human gut flora of the intestines can contribute to gut immunity. Synthesized vitamins such as folic acid, vitamin K, and biotin convert sugars to lactic acid. See lactobacillus, as well as fermenting complex undigestible carbohydrates. The presence of this gut flora also inhibits the growth of potentially pathogenic bacteria, usually through competitive exclusion, and these beneficial bacteria are consequently sold as probiotic dietary supplements. So let me reread that. The presence of this gut flora also inhibits the growth of potentially pathogenic bacteria, usually through competitive exclusion, and these beneficial bacteria are consequently sold as probiotic dietary supplements. So, like, what is that? What is that stuff called? Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. But it kind of tastes vinegary, but it's sweet at the same time, and it always has like the little yeast looking stuff at the bottom. What is it called? I love the taste of it. I just can't think of it. And it's like fermented as well. I'll think about it later. But yeah, they sell that a lot, especially at grocery stores like Walmart. But anyways, pathogen. A bacteria form a parasitic association with other organisms that are classed as pathogens. Pathogenic bacteria are a major cause of human death and disease and cause infections such as tetanus, typhoid fever, diphtheria, syphilis, chlorea, foodborne illness, leprosy, and tuberculosis. Human host reactions. Each species of pathogen has a characteristic spectrum of interactions with its human host. Some organisms, such as staph or strep, I'm going to say the small, ones, can cause skin infections, pneumonia, meningitis, and even overwhelming sepsis, a systematic inflammatory response producing shock, massive vasodilation, and death. Yet these organisms are also part of the normal human flora and usually exist on the skin or in the nose without causing any disease at all. Excuse me. Other organisms invariably cause disease in humans, such as rickettsia, which obligate intracellular parasites, able to grow and reproduce only within the cells of other organisms. So we're essentially walking around with like deadly diseases, but that's crazy. Damage or diseases caused by pathogens. Symptoms of disease appear as pathogenic bacteria damage host tissues or interfere with their function. The bacteria can damage host cells directly. They can also cause damage indirectly by provoking an immune response that inadvertently damages host cells. Direct. Once pathogens attach to host cells, they can cause direct damage as the pathogens use the host cell for nutrients and produce waste products. For example, strep, a component of dental plaque, so brush your teeth, metabolizes dietary sugar and produces acid as a waste product. The acid decalcifies the tooth surface to cause dental caries. However, toxins produced by bacteria can cause most of the direct damage to host cells. So brush your teeth. Toxin production. Endotoxins are the lipid portions of lipopolysaccharides that are part of the outer membrane of the cell wall of gram-negative bacteria. And I'm gonna stop right there because remember, if you think back to our corner store chemistry lesson, we explained what saccharides are. So double back to that lesson because that is very important. So endotoxins are released when the bacteria lyses, which is why after antibiotic treatment, symptoms can worsen at first as the bacteria are killed and they release their endotoxins. Exotoxins are secreted into the surrounding medium or released when the bacteria die and the cell wall breaks apart. Excuse me. Indirect, an excessive or inappropriate immune response triggered by an infection may damage host cells. Antibiotics. An antibiotic is a type of antimicrobial substance active against bacteria. It is the most important type of antibacterial agent for fighting bacterial infections, and antibiotic medications are widely used in the treatment and prevention of such infections. They may either kill or inhibit the growth of bacteria. Excuse me. Viruses. A virus is a submicroscopic infectious agent that replicates only inside the living cells of an organism. Viruses can infect all types of life forms, from animals and plants to microorganisms, including bacteria and archaea. A complete virus particle, known as a virion, consists of nucleic acids surrounded by a protective coat of protein called a capsid. These are formed from identical protein subunits called capsomeres. Viruses can have a lipid envelope derived from the host cell membrane. The capsid is made from proteins encoded by the viral genome, and its shape serves as the basis for morphological distinction. How viruses is spread. Viral populations do not grow through cell division because they are acellular. Instead, they use the machinery and metabolism of a host cell to produce multiple copies of themselves, and they assemble in the cell. When infected, the host cell is forced to rapidly produce thousands of identical copies of the original virus. Stages of virus life cycle. Life cycle differs greatly between species of viruses, but there are 6 basic stages in their life cycle. Stage 1, attachment. Attachment is a specific binding between viral capsid proteins and specific receptors on the host cellular surface. This specificity, determines the host range and type of host cell of a virus. Stage 2, penetration. Penetration follows attachment. Virions enter the host cell through receptor-mediated endocytosis or membrane fusions in a process often known as viral entry. Stage 3, uncoating. Uncoating is a process in which the viral capsid is removed. This may be degradation by viral enzymes or host enzymes or by central dissociation. The end result is the releasing of the viral genomic, nucleic acid. Stage 4, replication. Replication of viruses involves primarily multiplication of the genome. Replication involves synthesis of viral messenger RNA, mRNA, from early genes, with exceptions for positive sense RNA viruses. Viral protein synthesis, possible assembly of viral proteins, then viral genome replication mediated by early or regulatory protein expression. Stage 5, assembly. Assembly following the structure-mediated self-assembly of virus particles, some modification of the proteins often occurs. Stage 6, release. I'm going to drink water right now because this is going to be a mouthful. Release. Viruses can be released from the host cell by lysis, a process that kills the cell by bursting its membrane and cell wall if present. This is a feature of many bacterial and some animal viruses. So it's like war going on in our bodies. Some viruses undergo a lysogenic cycle where the viral genome is incorporated by genetic recombination into a specific place in the host chromosome. The viral genome is then known as provirus, or in the case of bacterial phages, a prophage. Whenever the host divides, the viral genome is also replicated. The viral genome is mostly silent within the host. At some point, the provirus or prophage may give rise to active virus, which may lyse the host cells. Envelope viruses like HIV typically are released from the host cell by budding. During this process, the virus acquires its envelope, which is a modified piece of the host plasma or other internal membrane. So, there's been a lot of hoopla about vaccines, so I decided to include them in this lecture. Vaccines may contain weakened or dead microbes. So, and we already know what microbes are. So when somebody tells you that, oh, that's a conspiracy, no, it's not. A vaccine is a biological preparation that provides active acquired immunity to a particular infectious disease. A vaccine typically contains an agent that resembles a disease-causing microorganism and is often made from weakened or killed forms of the microbe. And I have to stop there because you have to be infected. You have to be infected with the disease, and then they let it go through your body, and then they say, oh, you're immune to it. No, you're actually given the disease, and then it's whether you survive the vaccination or not. A vaccine typically, I'm going to just reread that. A vaccine typically contains an agent that resembles a disease-causing microorganism and is often made from weakened or killed forms of the microbe. It's toxins or one of its surface proteins. The agent stimulates the body's immune system to recognize the agent as a threat, destroy it, and to further recognize and destroy any of the microorganisms associated with that agent that it may encounter in the future. Now, this is really dumb because your body would do that anyway. If you caught a disease, your body would do that anyway. So all the vaccine does is try to give you a weakened version of a disease, and it's still giving you a disease. And I don't understand why people don't get that. But let me continue. Vaccines can be prophylactic to prevent or ameliorate the effects of a future infection by a natural or wild pathogen, or therapeutic vaccines against cancer, which are being investigated. Types of vaccines. Vaccines contain dead or inactivated organisms or purified products derived from them. And here is just a map of how many vaccines they have made and how long they've been studying vaccinations. So pretty much since the 1700s all the way up to 2019. Types of viruses: bacteriophage or human or adenovirus like HIV, which is human immunodeficiency virus. So, inactivated vaccines. Some vaccines contain inactivated but previously virulent microorganisms that have been destroyed with chemicals, heat, or radiation. So, long story short, it's a disease that they've either warmed up, threw chemicals on, or irradiated, which isn't good. Why are you putting that in your body? But this is the way they make it. The circulating strain, master high growth strain. They put it in an embryonic egg, which is amniotic fluid in the embryo. Then it goes through this process of selection, amplification, harvest. There's that fluid, inactivation, split, partial purification, and there's the inactivated influenza vaccine. Now that's very important because in the vaccination, like in the vaccine, they put a lot of animal DNA in those vaccines. And they try to lie to you and say that that's not the case, or people try to argue with you. But here's a diagram literally showing you, and it's more than just chicken DNA that they use. Attenuated vaccine. Some vaccines contain live attenuated microorganisms. Many of these are active viruses that have been cultivated under conditions that disable their virulent properties, or that use closely related but less dangerous organisms to produce a broad immune response. Although most attenuated vaccines are viral, some are bacterial in nature. They may not be safe for use in the immunocompromised individuals, and on rare occasions mutate to a virulent form and cause disease. I doubt that is rare. I think it pretty much, in my opinion, I'm hypothesizing that that's what it does a lot. Probably 80%. 80% popped in my head. So, toxoid vaccine. Toxoid vaccines are made from inactivated toxic compounds that cause illness rather than the microorganism. Subunit vaccine. Protein subunit. Rather than introducing an inactivated or attenuated microorganism to an immune system, which would constitute a whole agent vaccine, a fragment of it can create an immune response. So they're pretty much saying, oh, we just cut the disease in half and give it to you. Conjugate vaccine. Conjugate. Certain bacteria have polysaccharide outer coats that are poorly immunogenic. By linking these outer coats to proteins, aka toxins, the immune system can lead to recognize the polysaccharide as if it were a protein antigen. Dendritic cell vaccine. Dendritic cell vaccines combine dendritic cells with antigens in order to present the antigens to the body's white blood cells, thus simulating an immune reaction. DNA vaccine. A DNA vaccination, an alternative experimental approach to vaccination called DNA vaccination, created from an infectious agent's DNA, is under development. The proposed mechanism is the insertion and expression enhanced by the use of electroporation, triggering immune system recognition of viral or bacterial DNA into human or animal cells. Some cells of the immune system that recognizes the proteins expressed will mount on attack against these proteins and cells expressing them. Because these cells live for a very long time, if the pathogen that normally expresses these proteins is accounted at a later time, they will be attacked instantly by the immune system. Now, I'm going to stop there because there's two things I want to point out. If they know what the response will be, then obviously they've done it and been successful at it. So it's not really experimental, it's what they're doing. And two, why would you want somebody else's DNA, infected or not? Especially because it's infected. But why would you want somebody's DNA put into your own body? That is creepy. That is some mad scientist shit. That is weird. I don't go to the doctor. Recombinant vaccine. Recombinant vector, by combining the physiology of one microorganism and the DNA of another, immunity can be created against diseases that have complex infection processes. That sounds like some splicing hybrid mad science stuff. RNA vaccine is a novel type of vaccine which is composed of the nucleic acid RNA packaged within a vector such as lipid nanoparticles. A number of RNA vaccines are under development to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Valence of vaccines. Vaccines may be monovalent, also called univalent, or multivalent, also called polyvalent. A monovalent vaccine is designed to immunize against a single antigen or single microorganism. A multivalent or polyvalent vaccine is designed to immunize against two or more strains of the same microorganism or against two or more microorganisms. Excuse me. Heterotypic vaccines. Heterologous, are vaccines that are pathogens of other animals that either do not cause disease or cause mild disease in the organism being treated. I think that's like when you get the flu vaccine or something and then you like feel sick. I think like that's the type of vaccine that is. It says a flu virus contains 8 gene segments. The goal is to combine the desired HA and NA genes from flu strain 1 with 6 other genes from flu strain 2, which grows well in eggs and is harmless in humans, or so they say. So let's break it down. Here's the flu strain, HA antigen, NA antigens. After removing the dangerous part of the HA gene, scientists splice, I just said that, splice the HA and NA genes from flu strain 1 into circular, I have to drink. Into circular pieces of DNA called plasmids. 2. Additional plasmids are created using the remaining 6 genes found in flu strain 2, as you see illustrated here. Scientists insert the HA and NA plasmids from flu strain 1 in the 6 plasmids, carrying genes from flu strain 2 into animal cells growing in the laboratory. The genes and plasmids instruct the animal cells to make the desired new flu strain, and here's the new flu strain. So that's how they make their diseases in their labs, trying to keep the cussing down. So vaccine and related designs. Here's HIV right here, whole inactivated HIV. Synthetic peptide laboratory-made piece of protein. Recombinant viral vector. Another virus carries pieces of HIV. DNA carries pieces of HIV. Broadly neutralizing antibodies, non-vaccine. Circulate in the body and attach and neutralize many HIV strains. Virus-like particles, same shape as HIV inside, change. Recombinant bacterial vector. Bacteria used to carry pieces of HIV in recombinant subunit HIV protein made in the lab. These are all the types that they have, type of HIV vaccines. Okay, so these are the list of pandemics that we've had in recent years. SARS in 2004, avian in 2008, swine in 2010, MERS in 2012, Ebola in 2014, Zika 2016, Ebola 2018, and Corona 2020. That's half my life. I was born in 92. So half my life we've been having pandemics. It's crazy. And here's just some pictures of some various viruses. So, the next couple slides are taken out of my what is it called? Eugenics lecture. Please go check that out. It's called Eugenics Revisited, but this is an excerpt out of it because this is about coronavirus. And here's the patent number. Oops, hold on. Yeah, okay, yeah, I can skip that. Okay, coronavirus facts from the patent. Coronavirus primarily infects the upper respiratory or gastrointestinal tract of mammals and birds. 5 to 6 different currently known strains of coronaviruses infect humans. The most publicized human coronavirus, SARS-CoV, which causes severe acute respiratory syndrome, aka SARS, has a unique pathogenesis because it causes both upper and lower respiratory tract infections and can also cause gastroenteritis. Coronaviruses also cause a range of diseases in livestock, animals, and domesticated pets, some of which can be serious and are a threat to the farming industry. So why y'all are eating chicken and cows and all that stuff, they can get coronavirus and you could literally be eating it. Economically significant coronaviruses of livestock animals include infectious bronchitis virus, IBV, which mainly causes respiratory diseases in chickens, and then it kind of cut off there. But IB, infectious bronchitis, is a highly infectious and contagious pathogen of domestic fowl that replicates primarily in the respiratory tract, but also in epithelial cells of the gut, kidney, and oviduct. IBV is a member of the order Nidovirales, family Coronaviridae, subfamily Coronavirinae, and genus Gamma coronavirus. Genetically very similar to coronaviruses, cause disease in turkeys, guinea fowl, and pheasants. Clinical signs of IB include sneezing, tracheal rales, nasal discharge, and wheezing. Meat-type birds have reduced weight gain, whilst egg-laying birds lay fewer eggs and produce poor quality eggs. Excuse me. So, it's not just steroids that they could be pumping into those chickens. How they made the coronavirus. They used reverse engineering and gene splicing of a natural virus. And remember, that's part of the process that we just talked about with vaccines. So let me read it. Oh, they said nope. Okay. A method for making the coronavirus according to any claims 1 to 6, which comprises the following steps. Transfecting a plasmid according to claim 9 into a host cell, infecting the host cell with a recombining virus comprising the genome of a coronavirus strain with a replicase gene, preferably wherein the recombining virus is a vaccinia virus. Hence, vaccine, allowing homologous recombination to occur between the replicase gene sequences in the plasmid and the corresponding sequences in the recombining virus genome to produce a modified replicase gene, and selecting for recombining virus comprising the modified replicase gene, optionally further comprising the step of recovering recombinant coronavirus comprising the modified replicase gene from the DNA from the recombining viruses from step, I don't know Roman numerals, but I think there's 4. Okay, so let's get into the dangers of mask wearing, okay? So far we've broken down bacteria from the point of the cell and types of cells to how they replicate, to the difference between bacteria and a virus, how viruses spread and replicate. And now let's look at the dangers of the mask wearing that they're pushing. Danger of face mask. Mask is supposed to be used for a limited time. If you wear it for a long time, oxygen in the blood reduces, oxygen to the brain reduces, you start feeling weak, and it may lead to death. Advice: pull it off when you are alone. I see a lot of people in their car with AC on still wearing face masks. Ignorance or illiteracy. I think it's both. Do not use it at home. Duh. Only use in crowded place and when in close contact with one or more persons, and reduce the use of it while isolating yourself most of the times. So let's talk about hypercapnia. Hypercapnia or hypercarbia is when you have too much carbon dioxide, CO2, in your bloodstream. It usually happens as a result of hypoventilation or not being able to breathe properly and get oxygen into your lungs. Now, speaking as someone who works at a deli and have to have the mask on a lot of the times, it is so restrictive and I cannot breathe half the time, and I take it off and I say, if you don't want the sandwich because I'm breathing regularly, then just don't eat, because I always feel like I'm dying. I feel claustrophobic when I have that stupid mask on. So let's break it down. This is hypercapnia. It can be caused by rebreathing your own exhaled CO2 by wearing a mask continually. Main symptoms of carbon dioxide toxicity: visual, dim sight, auditory, reduced hearing, central, drowsiness, mild narcosis, dizziness, confusion, headache, unconsciousness. Your skin as you start sweating. Your heart, increased heart rate and blood pressure, respiratory, shortness of breath, and muscular. Your muscles get to tremor and get to spasm. Now, this is from a box of, I believe, N95, which is the often toted, this is what you're supposed to be wearing. It says, this product is an ear loop mask. This product is not a respirator and will not provide any protection against COVID-19, coronavirus, or other viruses or contaminants. Wearing an ear loop mask, which actually I think it's talking about like the common blue ones that you always see people wear. Wearing an ear loop mask does not reduce the risk of contracting any disease or infection. User is solely responsible for the selection of appropriate personal protective equipment as PPE for the setting and application. Change immediately if contaminated. Made of soft material, general purpose use only, not medical, not viral, preventing, none of that. Latex free 50 mask. Okay. The end. Hold on. Let me do that properly. The end. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. So, let me take this off. Yes, I want to view these files later. Okay. I know I said a mouthful and I did not get to look at y'all comments, so now I'm about to look. Okay. Michael in the house. Welcome. FLAGELLA. Sorry. FLAGELLA. Blue. Yo, I ain't trying to be funny, but I'm still a nigga, yo. My pronunciation, I got big lips. I'm sorry. What's good, bro? Thanks for being here, checking it out. Crown G in the building, and he in the city. We about to link up. Can't wait. Street Knowledge in the building. What's Rich? You said they were just practicing for this with all the others they created. If there is a virus, they are purposely giving it to people. The people think it can be on food as well. It's all a complete scam, depopulation for the New World Order. I believe that. Street Knowledge in the building. Hey, I don't know. Okay, so anybody who wants to hop on here, and I'm gonna have a queen come up here as well. Actually, let me go ahead and see if she's still up. Hey, what is your email? Anybody who wants to come up, please DM me in any way that you can your email address so I can send you a link, because we can talk. We can converse about not only the lecture that I just gave, but any other topic concerning the world and what's going on. So anybody who wants to hop on, we can do the open panel, because I was trying to do that with the other one, but it didn't really work out. So now we can do it on here as well. Oh, and yeah, wearing masks is a part of a mockery. And I don't know if y'all saw it, but Dr. Fauci made this video where he was saying, oh, it's just like to make people feel comfortable. And he was smirking when he said it. And I don't really think that's funny, because people cling on to I'm sorry. It froze a little bit. People cling onto the opinion of these so-called specialists, and then they just laugh and smirk in your face because they're playing with your emotions. And I keep that biologists, virologists, biochemists, they don't wear no $8 mask. Like, they have full-on suits on, hazmat suits, and they got people thinking that wearing an $8 mask from the corner store is going to save them from anything. And I keep trying to tell people that hold on, let me type this in real quick. My bad, y'all. I keep trying to tell people, or you can just if you don't mind, just put your Gmail. If you want to join the conversation, just put your email in the chat if you don't mind, or hit me up. A lot of y'all are friends with me either on IG or Facebook, so just send that to me so I can get you up here. Either I take up the whole show. Yo, speak your mind. It's a place. Okay, so I know for sure that I have a very, very, very intelligent goddess coming up here. And she has a special treat for everybody. This lady is a very, very, very talented individual. She's a businesswoman. She is a writer. She is a clothes designer. She is amazing. Yeah, just let me know when you want to hop on. No, that's fine. I don't care about that. Hold on, right quick, y'all. I'll be right back. The guest is about to hop on, and then I'm gonna read this. Well, hold on. Oh, let me know in the comments what y'all thought about that lesson, though. Let me know. I'm gonna try to put this link in here. I don't know if this will bring y'all to here. If not, just going Tony Street. If not, just hit me up on Facebook and I can just give me your email through Facebook and I can just link you like that. But here you go. I don't know if that link is going to work. Okay, I done heard that bell. Street knowledge in the building. How you doing, man?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear.
Just wanted to make sure. I ain't catch most of the show because I was working and all that. But I did wanted to make sure I stopped by and had the conversation with you. Hopefully we can do like a joint show over here. Where I ain't too busy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. We just went through. Well, the lesson was just it was a microbiology lesson. We went through from the cell to a microbe to a bacteria to viruses to how vaccines are produced and the effects of wearing a mask for a prolonged time, how it can cause you to have carbon dioxide poisoning.
That's a fact. It can also cause you to lose brain cells also.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize that. Actually, the first test that they did for marijuana, the way that they tested it on the chimpanzees is the reason why they lost brain cells. It wasn't because of the marijuana. They didn't release that until 20 years ago that they did the test wrong. They put respirators on them and pumped the smoke in it that way. And by them not getting enough oxygen, it was caused them to lose brain cells. Didn't have nothing to do with the marijuana smoke.
And they just ran with that analysis.
Yep, for a long time. And really never even gave, well, they released it to the public in files, but they know a lot of people not going to read that information. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They know that. It ain't like they did a press conference or a big announcement saying they was wrong all this time. And it's a whole nother reason why they did all those things anyway. It was purely about the paper industry, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Oh yeah, and that gave like something racial, for the idiots to cling on to, and a bunch of legislation. And I want to add to the fact that did y'all hear about how we would have had a lot of like rail cars going through cities if it wasn't for Ford?
Mm-hmm.
Because he literally stopped the production of rail cars going through cities just because he wanted to sell his vehicles.
Yep.
Picture how different life would be.
Be a lot different.
like, I don't even think owning a vehicle would be as rampant as it is. Like, I don't. If we would have rail cars throughout the city, I don't think it would probably be like a commodity to have a car, not a necessity. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Definitely 100% right. It's one of the reasons, like the Seven Cities part of Virginia, the part that I live in currently. It's one of the reasons why they don't have a sports team. They don't have a sports team is because all the cities are separate, and they don't have a way that if, say, they put a city in Virginia Beach or Norfolk or Portsmouth, that would make it convenient for guests to travel down to the stadium who don't have vehicles. So they tried to pass legislation years ago to build a light rail system through the seven cities, but because Virginia Beach don't want to share profits, it never went through. Because in order for that to happen, you need all the seven cities to come together and to be as one, kind of like the boroughs in New York. It's one of the reasons why New York generates so much money is because their boroughs operate as one and profit share.
see, and I want to add to all that, all those politicking and policy changing. We have really no say in that. In most of the neighborhoods that those type of decisions are made are usually the ones that we live in until it's either gentrified or we get kicked out, you know?
That's a fact.
In
That's a fact.
in I can't even say I'm not even just saying black people, I mean just the general public, the poor. We really don't have a say in a lot of the policies being made and a lot of the decisions being made. Earth got us in the building. What's goody?
Peace, God.
Peace, peace, my aunt. How you doing?
Peace.
They sound live back there.
Ain't it? They are. They're doing their usual. I'm just being a family lover.
I like that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read your poem for the
Okay,
people,
nice.
and then I'm gonna shut up and let y'all expound on the poem. Okay.
Awesome.
Crowned in the man, I got my peoples. I got my peoples out here. Okay. So, oops. Oh, see, they doing me dirty. Okay. July 4th, 1776. 4th of July, oh, what a huge lie. Just another day that we can still die. They taught us it was about freedom in America when it's really another holiday made for us to pay. Pay for a fictional celebration of patriotic freedom when we are all still bound by the government grounds. Even though all our civil right battles, we still cattle, we walk in assets, our souls and bodies are literally monetized at the highest of highs. We're free roaming, participating slaves to the corrupted government and evil corporations. And don't forget, all masses give their slaves a little off time to unwind. Sorry. Red, white, blue, ain't never did shit for you. Escape, beat, rape, and mass incarcerate. Pillage and colonize till every sun rises. This land was only great before it was colonized by the chaotic control freaks that truly can't help themselves from being soulless creeps. 4th of July, they don't take a spy to know about this whitewashed lie. Funny, they happy to celebrate now, but in 1776, and even a while after, they hated and fought about freeing the slaves. That factual statement alone should tell you that they will take any, wow, that's disrespectful, will take any date for a chance to celebrate. I've always wondered why are Neanderthals so happy on 4th of July when they were never in bondage as my ancestors were, and they definitely put up a hard battle to keep their human slaves as free labor cattle. They lost that war. Due to our Gullah Seminole warriors, and turned July 4th into a CYTO freedom holiday, and simultaneously another disguised corporation cleanup day time frame. Sad day of earth pollution on 4th of July when most people shoot all that bullshit in honor of bullshit into the sky. Gunpowder, amongst other pollutants everywhere, and no one is even scared. Not to mention all the debris that y'all firework popping contaminators later act like they don't see. Oh, how I wish 4th of July would just die. Now, I'm going to mute my mic and let y'all expound upon that. Before I shut up, though, tell me your feelings and thoughts when you were writing that, and now I'm muting.
My feelings and thoughts were basically, I'm sick of us glorifying our downfall and our demeaning. You know, I'm tired of us celebrating and participating in our own demise, and us participating in any holidays and buying all the mess that does not contribute to our liberation during holidays and on every holiday from the corporations that have enslaved us and continue to enslave us. Irritates me. So
this lady, I'm sorry to cut in. This lady knows her stuff. I really like that poem.
Thanks a lot, bro.
Yeah. What does something like the 4th of July do? When people are celebrating the government's holiday, 4/7, 47 degrees on the Freemason compass.
Mm-hmm.
The people, the sheep out there celebrating the 4th of July are giving the government legitimacy.
Exactly. Continuing on the bandwagon, just saying everything that they do is okay and righteous and just. And I'm over. I'm not going to be able to live my lifetime without having contributed, what I can do. And what I can do is share my messages, enlighten my people so that we can change our ways and find a way to liberation, because I do definitely think that it's very possible.
Absolutely. I can't see, or I don't know who's on here with me. Do you guys listen to Gematria Effect News?
I definitely love Gematria Effect. Yes. Me and my man definitely listen to him. And I don't think it's just it's just a good versus evil thing, and that's what has to be pointed out. It doesn't necessarily have a particular color, attached to it. Now, it's definitely a white supremacy, structure that's built around us, but that we cannot negate. But we have to understand that it's not just a black and white, movement. And I'm sorry.
And that's very important to bring up, because the separation that they created allows for us not to really be able to do what the Constitution says we have a right to do. Yeah. Because as long as we're separated, you can't really change anything.
Yeah, and dwelling on
racial because look tension. At you, us three, us four right now, we're getting along great. I'm a white guy. I know a couple of you guys are black guy, or whatever, right? Well, here's my point I'm going to make, though. They're doing all the stuff they do. They put it out there to divide us. Yeah. If I go out here on the streets and say that was a fake mass shooting, or they push racial agenda, they're going to look at me and think I'm crazy. Yeah. And that keeps us divided, and it makes me sick. I don't know if you guys know my page, Real Truth Being Told in Fort Wayne, Detroit. We expose all this stuff. You might have seen some videos me and Studi made. We got to wake everybody up out here, and it just seems impossible.
Yeah, me and Rich definitely have had videos taken down and censored because we go hard.
That's what's
And
up. And I
sometimes you
appreciate you
have to.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate
Yep.
you guys for doing y'all thing. I really do. Because that's
Have
what it's
a
gonna take. It's gonna take for
street.
us.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I was gonna ask street knowledge and ma'am, what's your name? Ma'am, what's your name? I don't know what to call you.
My CC. Just call me CC.
CC and street
Yes, sir.
knowledge. Have you guys saw my
Okay.
coronavirus riddle by chance?
I have not. I
Yeah,
might
I
check
have
that
not.
out though.
I had to check it out. I'm gonna have to subscribe
Studi-
to your channel too.
Studi, well, I'm not on YouTube, but I'm on Facebook. Studi, is
Okay.
there any way you can take the screen to the coronavirus riddle where I've made it new and improved?
Well, on your page.
Yeah, you can go to my Facebook page, and I'd like these guys to read the coronavirus riddle, and I would like to get their feedback. Or if you want to read it,
Yeah, I
if
can
that's
read it.
okay,
I can.
I appreciate that.
Let me.
Oops.
Hold on. Okay. Excuse me. Is it one of your most recent?
Yeah, if you go on my, sorry, wow. If you go on my Richard P. Quinn page, it's maybe
Yep.
about four posts down, brother.
The Event 201?
Yes. Can you show it
You
on the
know,
screen by chance?
I want to say this. Yeah, that has been coming up a lot lately.
201s are everywhere.
Well, no, like this is maybe the third time I've talked about this week. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
I believe in the divine. I believe in the divine of everything, and I don't believe in coincidences at all. So, okay,
Of course
but
not.
anyways, Event 201 was a simulation hosted by Gates of a virus that could kill 65 million people. To those who haven't unfollowed me, I like that, and see this, that means it was predictive programming. If someone mentions something and then it happens, that means that they have foreknowledge of it. And they call that miracles, right? Then 3 weeks later, what is Gates doing in a documentary called Next Pandemic? See the screenshot. His name sums to 201. I'm going to show y'all the screenshots he's talking about. That's exactly why it's called Event 201. This should be enough proof that people are ritualistic, and this is an agenda. The movie Inferno, about a billionaire advocating for population control, kind of like Bill Gates, came out on Gates' birthday. The movie is 2 hours and 1 minute long. In the DVD player, that looks like 201. It also 121 minutes. Just like the first case in Seattle in Gates' backyard was on 121, and just like the new coronavirus channel on TV, it's channel 121. It's all ritualistic BS. Trump pushed the original lockdown date back to April 30th. With leap year, that's the 121st day of the year. Tom Hanks also starred in Inferno. I'm sure by coincidence he was the first celebrity to come down with the virus. He tweeted us, telling us he's all right and had to include his wife is leading in gin rummy by 201 points. Excuse me, I'm about to take a drink of water. Monumental mockery. From the day Tom Hanks came down with the virus until his upcoming birthday in the span of 121 days. The second screenshot shows you pandemic equals 65. This is why they said it could kill 65 million people.
Yes, because in gematria, pandemic equals 65. And then here comes the next points.
Okay, sorry. Hold on 1 second. This is why they said it could kill 65 million people. The Gates got married on Bill's 65th day of his age, and Event 201 occurred on Melinda's 65th day of her age. What's that show you? Clear-cut ritualism. I'm tired of the critics out there. Me too. It's one thing if people choose not to pay attention, but we actually have people who try to debunk this. Somebody out there, please tell me I'm full of shit here. You should be worried about a virus. I checked the water supply in those airplanes making lines in the sky. That's big facts. If anyone has the virus or had it, it's not by accident. And what about the ones they've lied about and contrived the numbers? I just was arguing that today. I'd figure out how the government is slowly giving it to people. Maybe those tests are contaminated with it. I've said that. You think nurses and doctors would know if that was the case? Of course not. Had to type this riddle again because I'm tired of watching all you breathe in carbon dioxide all day long. It's a fucking mockery. And might I add that we said that in the lecture that you're overly breathing in carbon dioxide because you have something restricting your airflow. In gematria, World Health Organization equals 201, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation 121, Johns Hopkins University 121, William Henry Gates 201. It's why it's called even 201. Now, remember my eugenics street knowledge. I don't know if you want to chime in or not, but remember all these names popped up in that lecture I was given on eugenics. The Bill and Gates Foundation, Johns Hopkins. Yeah. So we've realized the world is strongly ran by the Jesuits. Strong Jesuit influence. I'm sure there are other secret societies on their team. Let's look at the Pope's name in gematria. George Mario Bergoglio equals 201. And it's funny, he recently moved to dorm 201 at the Vatican. Imagine the odds of that. Listen to Zachary Hubbard at Gematria Effect News, and you'll learn all the other 201s we've uncovered. I do my best to remember it all. This is all by memory. Oh, here is some more proof how 201 is special to these people. 201 Jesuits were saved by Catherine the Great of Russia back in the 1770s. See how long these agendas been going? Aren't we the lucky ones? The video by Gematria Effect News exposing the movie Inferno and coronavirus agenda. Please be sure and subscribe to this man. He's leading the people. This is why I'm here. Now I'm going to show y'all William Henry Gates. Here go the receipts. 201. Because we only
201, baby.
Yep, we only deal with facts. Here's the 65 he was talking about with pandemic. You see down here, Bill and Melinda Gates, 121, Johns Hopkins University, 121, and World Health Organization, 121. I'm not going to butcher that name again, but it's the Pope, 201. And I'm about to read this description right here. From its founding in 1540, the Society of Jesus has been one of the most important religious orders in the Catholic Church. However, it's almost vanished from the pages of history when Pope Clement, I do not know Roman numerals, suppressed the Jesuits worldwide on July 21st, 1773. Maybe that should be Independence Day. With the brief Dominus AC Redemptor, Catherine the Great of Russia saved the society almost single-handedly. She protected the 201 Jesuits she had acquired in 1772 with the first partition of Poland, and insisted. I just thought of Beyonce for some reason. Insisted that they continue their apostolic work as Jesuits. For decades, her successors continued to support the Jesuits. The Russian Society was the only surviving Jesuit entity in the world after 1780, except for a few Jesuits in Quebec, where Governor James Murray and Bishop John Olivier Briand refused to implement the brief suppression. Excuse me. That kind of, I know a lot of people are anti-Trump, but that kind of does, if he is a Jesuit,
He is. He went to Jesuit school, bro.
Well,
go ahead.
That Russian connection, not saying that with the elections were rigged or anything, because they already said that, proved that they weren't. But that gives kind of some clarity on the relationship between Russia and Trump, I guess.
If I could add real quick, Studi, if people go visit this and read it for themselves, they'll be able to get the link where Zachary K. Hubbard pretty much says all this through the video. And we all know he's going to explain it much better, and it's going to be more crystal clear.
Facts. Okay. The Russian society served as a beacon of hope for former Jesuits everywhere, made possible partial restorations outside the empire before 1814, and led directly to the general restoration of the society in that year. How the Jesuits survived their suppression, the Society of Jesus in the Russian Empire, 1773 through 1814, examines this crucial but little-known chapter of Jesuit history. And last but not least, William Henry Gates, 201. So I'm going to mute my mic. I really want the other bro to get in here. I don't Michael, if you're still in here, bro, I put the link twice. Hold on. Oh, Skeletor in the building. Hey, Skeletor, you need to hit the link. Why are you not in here? Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to mute my mic and let y'all expound on that stuff. But Skeletor and Michael, I really need y'all to come in the building. Be sure to do your full moon rituals. That's facts. Hold on. Crown G says, I just said the same. The Michigan freeway was like smog with all the fireworks. There was not a drop of fresh air. Yeah, man. Yeah, people are stupid, but I'm about to mute it.
Queen, I'll let you go first. Ladies first. I'll let you go first.
Well,
and then I'll go.
Well, you know, I don't want to hog all the mic time or whatever, because I just spilled out my whole riddle here. But here's the key points. He read the whole thing, and that was cool of him. Here's the main thing I drive home with it. Okay, you look at the number patterns. Okay, we have event 201. That's 2 hours, 1 minute, or 121 minutes. So what are the odds the first case is going to be near Seattle in Bill Gates' backyard on 1/21, January 21st? Then all of a sudden the coronavirus TV channel is 121. And then you look at the movie Inferno that came out on Bill Gates' birthday, is 121 minutes, and it was 121 days from Tom Hanks' birthday. Okay? And we know that 121 minutes is 2 hours and 1 minute. And out of Trump's mouth, he said we're going to push the lockdown date back to April 30th. That was when all this first started. Well, with leap year, that's the 121st day of the year. So it's a two-part question. You know, what are your guys' thoughts on that? And then you can look at the gematria, the numeric values of all the 121s and 201s. But not everybody knows what gematria is. I get that. But you can kind of take our word for it when you see the numeric pattern over here, and then the gematria numeric pattern follows suit. Here's the second part to what the point I want to drive home today. Everybody thinks that Trump is here to fight the New World Order and he's for the people. Now, we know Trump is controversial, but that in the end, they always make him seem like the good guy, or they always make this stuff look like an accident. Do you know what that is? Just like in WWF wrestling, you have a heel and you have what they call a baby face. The baby face is the good guy and the heel's the bad guy. They make these narratives and it's all theatrics. And that's what we've pointed out. And I'm sitting here with trolls and people telling me I need a therapist. And I'm getting ready to meet people halfway. You know what I mean? Because it's pissing me off so much. Because people like you who are sitting here listening and looking at my riddles I've typed out for everybody, get it. You spend 10 minutes listening to me, you get it. You know, but people just want to dismiss stuff right away. But here's the main point, guys. Donald Trump and Joe Biden, they're on the same team. It's like fake wrestling. When The Undertaker fights Hulk Hogan, they really hate each other, don't they? But then after the match, after everybody got paid, they go and have a burger and a Coke, don't they?
Yeah.
That's the same thing that Hillary and Trump do. Obama and Trump. Any of them you can think of. They're all part of secret societies. Okay, the joke's all on us. It's all a work. It's all theatrics. And when they make Donald Trump look like the good guy, it's just part of their agenda, and he's mocking us. And if there's any feedback on any of what I said, even the coronavirus riddle, I'd like to hear it.
Yeah, I dig that. Like I totally got educated on something today. I always thought that when I first, and I said this in studio a little while ago, when he was over on my channel, that when I first heard Bill Gates say what he was worried about, I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago, he did some conference where he was explaining that he was worried about us not being ready for the next big pandemic, and he was talking about a simulation. And I was like, the only way to simulate a virus and how we would respond to it is to give it to people.
Yes.
And just not too long ago, about a week and a half ago, my aunt had to go to the hospital. She was having trouble breathing. She didn't have the coronavirus. She went to the hospital, and when I called her and was talking to her on the phone, I can tell that mentally she wasn't there. And I talked to her before she went to the hospital. She was fine. Then when I talked to the doctor to find out what was going on with her, he said they gave her some medicine and she had a reaction to the medication. Now, this went on for 5 days that she was acting like this while she was in the hospital. And they made it like she couldn't leave until she could say what day it was and all this. And I'm like, what did y'all give her? My aunt is a recovering addict of heroin. It's not too much you can give her.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not to be funny enough, but it's not too much you can give her that's going to cause that type of reaction. She'd have been around for a while. You feel what I'm saying?
She's immune, bro.
Yeah, like it's not like, nah, that's crazy. Like y'all, like you're not gonna tell me you gave her this one time and she been acting like this for 7 days. You know what I mean? And she was in Johns Hopkins Hospital because I'm originally from Baltimore, so that's where my family is. You understand what I'm saying?
They're John Hopkins helped host Event 201. They are all up in this. You are actually peeling the layer of the onion off here, bro. You are exposing something here, and keep going, please.
Yeah, so after the time go by, because we threatened me and her significant other threatened, because they tend to do stuff like this when they think somebody don't have somebody. And being as though you can't physically go to the hospital to visit anybody at Johns Hopkins right now, so they have the patients do the video call thing.
Unbelievable.
And just even the way that she looked, and I wasn't able to screen record it because they had some type of block on it, so you can't screen record a Zoom call. And I never seen nothing like that before. Because typically you can screen record Zoom.
I think not to interrupt you, obviously, but I think you need to call Zachary K. Hubbard's radio show next Wednesday, which is live on YouTube, and you need to tell him this story with your aunt, because we exposed Johns Hopkins. Johns Hopkins University equals to our 121, just like World Health Organization, just like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, like all of it. Everything's 121 or 201. So to go to that hospital, bro, there is no freaking way. Based on what you're saying, you just solved the case for me. Did they say your aunt had coronavirus by chance?
No, they didn't. They didn't say that she had. They said that she had symptoms, but she didn't have the virus. Now they let her, they released her and she's home and she's fine now, but she still has a hard time remembering anything from the hospital. But she does remember them not feeding her. Like she was able to tell us that she had a banana. She was able to tell us that she had an apple. She was able to tell us that she had some cereal, but for 3 days, she kept saying she didn't eat. And they was telling us, oh, she just confused. I'm like, so how do she remember having a banana and having an apple and having some cereal then?
Yeah. Does your aunt look like an experimental guinea pig and shit, bro, or whatever they're doing? You know what I mean?
It's crazy because while she was in there and I have the pictures, she didn't look like herself at all. Like literally at all, she did not look like herself. Like it was a totally complete different person while she was in the hospital than she is now while she was home.
Let's put this into perspective. We know, we've seen all the posts about how the test kits or whatever come up positive when they haven't even been used on nobody. We know they're contriving numbers. You know, I think they're giving people the coronavirus when they give them a test for it. So you have stuff like that. What do they do to your aunt, bro? What are they doing to your aunt?
They're giving it to you when you get the test.
That's what I believe also.
Any type
and then that helps their numbers.
Anything in the hospital.
I wish she wouldn't even have had to go. The crazy thing about Baltimore City is every single hospital in Baltimore City, and I don't know if y'all know this, every single hospital in Baltimore City is owned by Johns Hopkins.
That's
crazy. They bought all those hospitals years ago.
Secret societies.
And this is why we have to take our health into our own hands. And
holistic
herbs.
Yes.
We have to learn how to handle herbs and cure ourselves.
That is a fact.
You're right about that.
I am definitely one of my plans to be a herbologist at some point. I want to get into herbology for sure. But what was you saying, Rich?
Hey, what I was going to ask you guys, I know Studi's heard of this because our video that got taken down had it on there. Anybody Dr. Creep fan in the house?
Hey, I'm about to play it.
Thank you.
No, this would be a first for me.
This is from 2010, Dr. Creep, all right? Just listen to his lyrics about a minute into the song.
All right.
Yeah. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, we about
Studi, I know what to bring up, bro. You know that.
Yeah. This is a good segue into the from the microbiology stuff that I was teaching. So this is good.
Yeah, we can bring up his death. We can bring up all kinds of stuff, bro.
Storm.
The more stoned I get, the better I get.
Thick rain, like fresh motor oil. Storm started. Something happened. His face, his eyes were different.
This version with the lyrics.
By the time they tried to evacuate the cities, it was already too late. The infection was everywhere.
The virus is harvesting. What do you mean? 7 and 3 begin live to the lab of the first war with vaccines. Making doctor the first week of the pandemic dreams. We are the deep black death, smallpox, mutated disease. Flu shot propaganda for all population and troops. Avoid the plague. It might have slipped into the room. It's now we're born with 5 storms signal our doom. The death returns with the pissed off zombie moon. The sprinkler system equipped with AUAG. With the round up survivors in the cold facility. Watch the process of terror from the hill near the stream. I remain in the gas mask. I still filter my water clean. This isn't past tense on the plague and bad things couldn't be eradicated like smallpox in action. Avian influenza with the jet stream is how it happens. 2020 combined with coronavirus, body stacking.
Stop.
Yeah, did y'all hear that?
What did he say?
I'm a back
He
that
said,
thing up.
I'll do the honors. He said 2020 combined with coronavirus. And that was from 2010. And I've heard, I don't know if this is true, Dr. Creep is supposedly dead, which would make perfect sense because then he can't explain to the millions of people who would want to ask him about his rap song and how he knew to say 2020 and coronavirus.
Wow.
It's because these people are born, these people are paid off, these people are born and bred to be, or they fake their deaths. You can fake your death in this world so easy. You got $1 zillion and go start your new life in the middle of Israel or something and grow a beard. Nobody'd even know you. If they and this is what's going on. Wait till Studi shows you Kobe's fake death. And I guarantee that shit's a fake death. But I don't want to change the subject.
I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't want to do that on here, but they can definitely check out our video on that. But I just want to reiterate that line Right here.
Action, avian influenza, when the jet stream is how it happens. 2020 combined with coronavirus, body stacking.
The world is now.
Mind you, I did not mean to stop that on 111, you know, but that's divine. That's it, some divine exposure. But
Law of probability, bro. Guys, I mean, is there anything? Is this not an open and shut case?
Big facts. I had no idea about this. I'm gonna have to talk about this on my channel. I had no idea about this.
Hey,
this is
wow. Who Asked You podcast, you never know what's gonna pop up, you know.
Bro, type in
Wow.
Dr. Creep. Type in Dr. Creep coronavirus on YouTube, and you can even put lyrics in there, and you'll get the lyrics.
I got it up on my TV right now. Like this is this is crazy. Like the how many years ago this was is just ridiculous.
Imagine the odds.
It's crazy that nobody will have a chance to talk to him,
Right.
which is very convenient.
Exactly. It's just cut and dry, man.
That's why I be telling people it's not conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy fact.
Word.
Conspiracy truth, as I say, but I like that conspiracy fact. That's a good one too, bro.
What do you think about this, man?
We just so comfortable with all our, lies that it's hard to. That's why they're categorized as conspiracies to begin with, because we so comfortable with the lies that we've been taught and learned. So
yeah,
I've been done with it. That's what my book is all about. A whole poetry book about straight facts. Please enlighten you.
CC, question for you, CC.
We got. Yes, what's up, bro?
So, CC, what you said is all true. Everybody's comfortable with their lives and all that. But when I can show you stuff like this, all four of us and everybody in the chat just heard that rap song, and now we know within 1 second that it's all bullshit. How come the rest of the world can't see that? How come the rest of the world can't see that?
I'm not sure. I mean, that's just like religion. They don't want to believe that it can't be that one entity. Same thing with anything else, politics and other areas. But I never was fooled by this whole corona epidemic. I always knew that it was a deeper meaning. It was a deeper symbology for what was really happening and what's necessary to happen, because I definitely hope that, the deep state is being dealt with. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask you, especially because Rich, you feel like that Trump is a Jesuit and he's part of the game. But word on the street is that they're having tribunals as we speak. They're rounding people up. If they eventually put in martial law, it's to round them all up. And
can you see my head shaking,
they're doing
bro?
like deep fakes right now and all types of stuff. You don't believe none of that?
Oh, I believe about it. I believe a little bit of it, and I'll tell you exactly what I believe. How you say they're rounding all the pedophiles up and stuff?
Yeah.
I call those to be shaming rituals. Okay, these people, like when a governor goes to jail, he's really not going to jail. When one of these celebrities really goes to jail or gets killed, it's a fake death. Okay, so if we have much worse things going on that's being waged against all of us than child molestation, which child molestation or whatever is very, 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 very bad, obviously. I'm not saying it's not bad, but ending all of us is even bigger. Okay, somehow something can be bigger. The Jewish New World Order is much bigger than some pedophilia, so-called pedophilia. So I think what they're doing is shaming rituals on them, which distracts all of us. It's kind of like, look in this hand so you don't see what we're doing in this hand type of thing. And
I can ride with that. I believe the same thing. I got you with that. I see what you're saying with that. And also another thing Trump has been trying to do, and that they're not talking too much about, is he's trying to pass legislation to take away central banking. They don't talk about it. It's not like it's not going to happen because nobody's going to sign off on it.
But why wouldn't they though? Why do
you know why? You know why they. You know why they.
I'm saying
wouldn't.
for entertainment purposes. Because I know, but
that's what run all this. The way central banking even started was suspect. The way that it started in America was suspect all the way through.
The Titanic. You talking about Titanic?
That it's been able to continue to exist here for this amount of time, we pretty much know how they run and how they've been able to stay within that power structure with those main banks being able to circulate currency throughout the world that way. But the fact that he's been attempting to try, and he's been trying to do this for a while, and none of the news channels really talk about it. Most of the time, if you don't watch a Senate meeting, you wouldn't even know that that's what he's trying to do.
But let me ask you this. Do you think, hear me out, do y'all think that with information and with being awoken, that people become a little pessimistic? So when there's a little bit of chance that things will, hold on, let me finish. When there's a little inkling of a chance that things will go right, y'all kind of reject, or not y'all, but people reject that idea because the knowledge that they have makes it so bad. Because I always think this. Let's say all the bad, evil things that's going on right now ends. What will truth, what is the role of truth seekers after the Illuminati or any secret or the secret societies is gone? What happens if good wins? What do we do? What's our role in life if the system does get dismantled?
I think it will always be a sense of whether this structure be taken down, another one would exist anyway because of balance. It's always going to be. Now, will it be the same type of power now? No, but I think some of our job would be to continue to shine light on the possibility of it happening again.
So become educators of tyranny.
Yeah, and make sure we continue educating so that people are not fooled so easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, if you get rid of the 400-year-old secret society, that kind of clears up 90% of the world's problems in itself.
Right. And I am cautiously optimistic, okay? I like to believe, because y'all have to remember something, right? I don't care if you believe in God or not. The universe reacts to the vibrations that you put out. So if you are a constant fear of death, death will come. So if you continuously believe that they will never be dismantled, that the system will always be, then the universe is going to answer that question. Answer that. So I always try to be cautiously optimistic that good things will happen, because if I and everybody else keep reverberating that they're going to, put us all in FEMA camps, that we're all going to die, that they're all going to, the universe is only going to answer it. If we're all giving off that frequency and that thought, because it's a unified field, then we have no choice but to fall victim to that thought.
You know what? I appreciate you just saying that. That just gave me some insight. At being my age, you just gave me a jewel. You know what I mean? And that's a damn, that was heavy. I think that should be, we all should feel that way. You know what I mean? Still be cautious, but still have that hope of it not happening. That might do more of a change along with us pushing and educating. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's okay to be optimistic. Okay, it's okay to be optimistic, but What I'm answering to is specifically what you said earlier that I haven't spoke on yet. When we're talking about if Trump's part of them or not, and how you're optimistic that he's not, maybe he is fighting them, blah blah blah. I'm not talking about stuff we're predicting like they will put us in FEMA camps or whatever. I'm showing what Trump has done.
Rich, one second. Pookie.
Okay.
Please hit the link. You got to come in here. I know you got a perspective. Let's get another queen in the building. Okay, Rich, go ahead.
Bro, I'm not sitting here talking about what Trump might be doing or what they might do. I expose what Trump has done. And I'm not talking about something I saw on a meme, some propaganda bullshit. I'm talking about the numeric riddles, being into the Kabbalah, which is people into gematria and denumerology.
So let me ask you this. So do you think, and I'm just using this name because it's very popular right now, do you think QAnon is bullshit?
Okay, between QAnon and Anonymous, I get them mixed up. I know one of them is definitely a government. It's Anonymous. A government. Okay, Anonymous is a government like it's their. You're not supposed to know they work for the government. They're like agents.
They've been taking over.
Yeah, but they do.
So what is their job? That would be to act like there's some truth. Like there's some truth community. It all gives them legitimacy is what it does, bro. Because then people know, yes, the government is evil, but oh wait, Anonymous just made them look like conspiracy theorists. So now we just dismiss it and we can't prove it. You know, I don't know if I explained that well.
No, but Anonymous has already showed its cards with trying to
bro, they're
defame Trump's name. So I put it this way, right? This is how
it's mockery, bro. It's mockery.
But just listen, anybody that the system consistently tries to destroy has to be on the wrong side of the powers that be. In whatever capacity. There is not a person on this planet that they are trying to get rid of more than Trump. And I know, I get that you're saying like it's the Hulk Hogan versus Undertaker type situation. I get it. But this man got bounties on his head. He's consistently having like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just,
bro. I know it's hard to explain. I get it, but has the Simpsons been wrong yet? Like it's all theatrics, bro. It's theatrics. It's all.
Actually, I'm about to mute myself because I want to hear your perspective on what we're talking about.
Oh, all I just had to add in was just that I do believe what the Simpsons say because a Freemason writes the Simpsons, so that's definitely gonna be a key.
If Trump dies, you can take it to the bank. It's gonna be a fake death. So of course he's got bounties on his head, and they get all this theatrics going.
So you think cannibalism gonna be widespread because they made that prediction?
Oh gosh, let's hope that's not true. Please, no.
You can toss anything you want when it comes to them doing the Jewish New World Order and ending all of us. Their bloodline goes forward, ours stops, and then they can rewrite history and tell more lies. This is all about their bloodline moving forward and nobody else's, and they make it all look like an accident. And I don't mean to hog the mic, or I'm just very passionate and very upset every day about people not listening to this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
I get it. It's very frustrating. You always see people arguing with me who never do research, who don't know nothing. But when I argue,
one question for Studi: how many more Trump riddles can I come up with that shows him mocking us, just like all the Mike Pence? They're all in it. You can. It's not. I'm just not singling out Trump, but he's an example. How many more Trump riddles do I got to show for people to not believe anything they say and know it's all theatrics?
Okay,
it's a all of them thing. It's a all of them thing. It's not a certain
Yeah.
section. I'm a common believer in. It's all of them. Like
Well,
it's
Trump's
a
in
reason
it,
why
Mike Pence
only
is in it.
certain people get to run for office.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a reason behind that. And I don't think nobody really looks at it that way, because the way the Constitution say, we should be able to run for office. That don't happen though.
What are the odds Bush's son was president and 9/11 happened? And I mean, you can go read our 9/11 riddle. That might blow your mind. But what are the odds? Yeah. How's this democracy?
Let me show this to people real quick, because I have two interpretations of this. Okay. A trump is a playing card of the suit chosen to rank above the others, which can win a trick where a card of a different suit has been led. A valuable resource that may be used, especially as a surprise, in order to gain advantage. Now, that could be two things, okay? In my head, that means either A, that is the trump card is, if the people follow this man, they get free, but if they don't, boom. Or they could say, this is the trump card against the people, and if they follow them, then we go to our deaths, or if we oppose him. Like, it could be either or. The way my mind is set up, it's the first option, to be honest.
Let me blow your mind since you brought this up, bro. How about this route? 2016, Trump, House of Cards. What was that show called? House of Cards.
That's the name.
What happens to a house of cards? It falls, just like our economy is. Our economy by design. How about that route, Studi?
Yeah, I mean, they've been talking about doing a cryptocurrency or
House of Cards.
They've been trying to do that for a long time. I read a book while I was incarcerated back in '95. I can't think of what the name of the book was, but this guy, he was supposedly, and y'all, as I say it, y'all probably heard of this before. The book was released in '87. I read it in '95. His kids released the book after he was deceased, and in that book, he gave all these supposedly government secrets, which people discounted the books because he talked about aliens and stuff like that. So people always discount the stuff. But the one important thing that he said in there is that it's a part in the book that's talking about how they get us to accept things. And what he put in the book, he said that they want to do away with currency. And how they're going to do that is they're going to go through a series of steps to wing us off of currency. So to just be like improving on something. So he said the first start would be what would be independent cards for people that was on welfare. The second step would be jobs will require for you to have a bank account in order for your check to go in there.
Which you're doing it now.
Yeah, the second step would be they will make it convenient for you to pay bills with those cards. Then he got into the technology thing. And the scary part is he talked about how we was going to end up having robots in their home. And he specifically says in this book that the first thing that we was going to have in our home was a vacuum cleaner that moved by itself. And that is the first thing that I ever saw. And when I seen that commercial, the first thing that I thought about was that chapter in the book. Because I can't remember the name of the book. For some reason, I always want to say Operation Railroad, but that's not the name of the book because I can't find it under that. And I've been looking for that book for years. And back then when I was back in '95, they had moved us from city jail to central booking, and they only had about 20 books on a cart. And they would used to bring the books around to us. So all of us shared the same books. And I probably read that book like 10, 15 times because it was an interesting book. Whether you believed it was fact or fiction, whatever you believed it was just an interesting book. But almost everything that he said in there as far as currency, and this was back, the book was released in 87. I read it in 95. Now, after the fact, if somebody read it now, of course, they'll be like blasé, but reading it back then, all that sounded far-fetched. But me being the age that I am now, I have been able to see all those things happen.
That's scary.
Yeah, like that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Can I put the icing on the cake for this? Let's go back to but first, that was a mind-blowing story, and I'd love to find that book. Way back in the beginning, what'd you say? You said they put this information in this book, but then they started talking about aliens and everything too. Do you know why they did something like that? It's because these people love to predictive program. They love to stick it in our face just enough that hardly nobody will see it. Hardly nobody will see it, right? And then when they put the alien thing in there, what's that do? That makes everybody dismiss it all now.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it did. That's exactly you 100% right, because that's exactly what it did. I know I kind of mentally did that. You know what I mean? But it's other stuff in the book, like the Tesla thing. Like they talks about them taking Tesla works in the book. He describes almost everything down to a T technology wise. Like the chapter on technology is really telling about how before they give us something, we get it last. We never have the same access to technology that they do.
I've heard
they give it to us after they done played with it already. So for the people that's worried about 5G, by the time we get 5G, they on 7G.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not giving us the same access they have. It just doesn't work that way.
Exactly. We don't have the key to the executive bathroom.
Yeah, they're not doing that. That wouldn't even make sense. It's not beneficial to them. They just don't.
Can I tell you guys something?
Hold on. I saw this video of like, it was like, it had to be like in the 30s or 40s, right? And they were like, this kid was in this like circular vehicle type thing, just going around and it reminded me of a Men in Black movie where they had like a futuristic type of vehicle like that. And I'm like, they been had this tech. I would not be surprised if they didn't have laptops in the 1920s. Like,
wouldn't be surprised at all.
Surprised at all.
I wouldn't be so. They said, and the guy says in the book, and this is actual information that people can look up themselves, but it was in this guy's book that Tesla had drew the first cell phone in his whatever you want to call it. He had a bunch of cryptic writings and drawings of projects that they took after he passed away, and he died broke, but they took all this stuff out of his house. He had all these drawings, and one of them was of a cell phone. One of them was of a which can't nobody really make out, but it actually looks like a laptop. Don't nobody know what it is. It looks like a laptop though. But that's up to interpretation because we're looking at it knowing what a laptop is. You know what I mean? So that's kind of up to interpretation. It might not have been a laptop. When he drew it, it might have been something else. It just looked like that to us because we see laptops all the time. So that can be explained away. The cell phone part can't really be explained away because he calls it a portable phone.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He calls it that. It's written underneath the little drawing of it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't look like the first cell phones that we had back in the 80s with what would have been a portable phone. It doesn't look like that. It looks like the phones we have now. They more square and round and one singular screen. You know what I'm saying? It's not no flip thing. It's not no book bag thing. It's not no none of that. It's a singular screen.
Y'all got my mind going. I can tell you that right now.
Blue
Wow.
in the building. What's goody, bro?
It's all predictive. It's all predictive programming. You know?
Yep.
It's the one and only.
You guys want to hear an example with Bill Gates and Elvis Presley?
I wanted to take a picture.
Sure.
Go ahead.
This is just a little something I could probably add to the coronavirus riddle. Okay. In 1956, Elvis went on TV and did a vaccine. He took a vaccine on TV. He was the first celebrity to ever take a vaccine on TV. Now, what does that do when people see a person like a celebrity take a vaccine on TV? They're all going to do it and all think it's okay and it's cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that happened on Bill Gates' first birthday.
Wow.
Am I the only one that sees that right there, bro? And to know that Bill Gates' father was into this stuff and all the other ritualistic things with the coronavirus. The coronavirus thing's been going on with Bill Gates' family. It's been brewing their whole lives. They are born and bred to be for this. Okay, guys? What are the chances that happened on Bill Gates' first birthday, bro?
Bill Gates is
Wow.
a toxic individual.
I'm tired of them. Tired of all of them.
I'm so tired of him. Oh my gosh. I wish somebody would truly do something about him and his
I would smack it so hard, bro. You don't even know.
I wish we could just depopulate
And they are
him.
so like they not powerful, they not strong. It's a bunch of old, crusty, unathletic,
recessive,
disease.
Bro, I would fight Bill Gates. I would fight Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg at the same time, bro. No problem at all.
I think that's a cyborg or something. I don't think he's like an alien. I don't know.
Yeah, that cat weird, man. I don't think that cat human at all. I don't think that's what we
I haven't
believe it
even
is.
seen you. Bro, I haven't even seen you, and I bet you'd smash him.
It's weird, man.
Yeah, if he was at the party, I'd be like, all right, bro, I'm about to go. Like, I'm about to, like, what's wrong with your boy?
Clear.
That's one of him.
Yeah.
I told you.
Air a whole party out himself.
For real.
Studi.
Yeah.
Studi, brother. I always appreciate you bringing on here, man. And I just hope people get to see it and listen to it. And, bro, we can talk about some Trump riddles if you like, because you are on that thing about Trump. Or we can even go ahead.
Okay. First of all, Trump is not my Jesus, okay? I'll be having to tell everybody. He's not my savior. He's not my Jesus.
I can't tell on them Facebook posts. I can't tell on them Facebook posts.
I'm so convinced, but we're not even a part of the political game.
I know. I just see what I see, and I have to give credit where it's due until I see something otherwise. But that's not my savior. He's not my God, okay?
This whole shit.
I know.
I'm not a Trumper, but I wanted to show you this website.
The overall Florida.
I had two awakenings. One when I was in high school, and then the other one was like recent in the recent years. And I saw this website when I was a teenager. I had to be like 17 years old, so this was like 2010. Let me show y'all this, and it's still up. That's what's crazy.
Is it E-Bombs World?
Nope. Future timeline. Let me show y'all this. They literally have everything mapped out from the T. Now, mind you, I told you I saw this in 2010, 2011, but we're in 2029. And they literally, like, at some point during this period, United States is struck by most devastating earthquake in its history. Arctic is becoming free of sea ice. At some point, major earthquake hits California. Progress towards malaria elimination. America, China, tensions continue in the Asia Pacific region. Gene therapy for deafness, breast tomosynthesis is in widespread use. 2020, Microsoft in support for Windows 7. Generation X is reshaping global politics. The first stem cell therapy for congestive heart failure. Progress with longevity extension. First orbital test flight of the SpaceX Starship. Mercury pollution has been greatly reduced. Glacier National Park and other regions are becoming ice-free. Britain's nuclear carriers reach full operational capability. Mars 2020 rover mission. Internet use reaches 5 billion worldwide. The PlayStation 5 is launched.
Wow.
Money.
Wow.
Let me show y'all.
Wow, man.
Listen.
Wow.
What is this?
Close that door, please.
I definitely just
This
checked
is
out that site
copyright
too.
2008. That was the first copyright.
Okay.
Remember,
I'm gonna be sharing that on my Facebook.
please do.
Wow.
Because remember, I told y'all that I saw this when I was in 11th grade. I'm like in
I ain't
2010.
even had no help like that to enlighten.
Yeah.
Yo, I told you I had 2 awakenings. This stuff was too much for me. I had blocked it all out, but then the universe said, "Nah, bring that ass back here." But let me show y'all. Okay. They're like, nah, kid. But yeah.
Yeah, it definitely be like that. It's definitely correct. You just be ignoring the signs.
Trying to.
Bro, did in that list of stuff you mentioned the earthquake that hit California, right?
Yeah.
Was that the one in 2019?
Well, it says
or 18,
2020 through 2037. So maybe it hasn't hit yet.
Okay,
I don't know, but
no, it was the one from a year ago. I thought it was the one from a year ago. Since this is July 4th, this is a fitting day to say this. The earthquake that hit California on July 4th of last year, did you know that was the largest earthquake that hit California in 1,776 days?
No, that's wild.
So what was my point? What's my point?
That
it's
was
mockery.
Like
yes, some of the earthquakes are real and some of them aren't.
We say ritual, you say mockery.
I say ritual. Bro, ritual is one of my key terms. You can believe that, brother. No, I say ritual all the time. But yeah, mockery. In other words, people think it's a Mother Nature earthquake, but it's a military drill reported as a tragedy. Hey, just like their fake mass shootings. Just like their fake mass shootings are drills reported as tragedy. Same with the weather. It's the same with the weather, brother. And ritualistic people love numbers and they love fucking with the weather because they like playing God over the masses. Playing God over the masses.
Yeah.
This says
that's their whole ordeal.
These are really important right here. Okay. Water crisis in Southwest USA in 2021. Male birth control pills are entering the market. I say that one is really important because I've heard people say that they've been testing and trying to.
They're already doing that.
Yeah, I've heard that come about too. I heard that it was already, in fruition. Like they already have male birth control now.
It says global reserves of Entana are running out. What is Entana?
Damn, we got Rona.
Is everybody here? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Now I can.
Oh, I was so used to the background.
Hello?
I'm like, wait, where everybody go? Pookie in the building.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I hear my echo.
All right. Peace, love, family.
Peace. Well, antimony is compounds have been known since ancient times and were powdered for use as medicine and cosmetics. So I guess they're saying that it's an atomic chemical as well. So I guess, anyways, let me find something that, and then we can talk about how the fact that they got this shit mapped the fuck out. It says 2023 brain implants to restore lost memories.
I seen that somewhere else too.
2025 through 2050, unemployment is soaring. They're already talking about how they're running out of money for unemployment while people buying dumb shit.
Bro, pretty soon we're gonna be out there buying a can of corn for dinner because that's all we can find, bro. And it's all gonna be done on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're slowly taking it all. They're pulling the rug, bro.
Remember?
Sorry.
Remember what I said? Negativity? No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Let me see.
Oh my god.
We're gonna definitely hope it doesn't get to that.
Oh,
Studi, if you want to go,
huh?
Go ahead, brother. Go. I was gonna ask you a quick question. I'm sorry. After you get done with this part, if everybody else wants to, and you guys are up to go, just another 30, 40 minutes, if that. Remember that video we were supposed to watch on our next video, and that never happened?
Which one?
It's like 15 minutes. Solution to Federal Tyranny. I feel it's something that people just need to watch. And it's one of Hubbard's greatest videos, bro. He exposes 9/11 Vegas massacre and tells us what we need to do about it.
Well, I would rather have that on a different one because it's already 2 hours long, and I want to hear.
Okay.
Pookie, how do you feel about this? Because I'm about to show y'all something freaky, freaky, real quick. So, how do you feel about what we've been talking about, Pookie? And I'm about to mute my mic.
I've been kind of. Am I echoing this time?
No.
Okay, yeah. I was listening to some of this in and out. It's like a lot of firecrackers going on around the neighborhood, disturbing my rest. But however, I tuned in to see you, Studi, and see what was going on, checking out. But what I see here is that at some time you gotta clear the board. You understand? Like you can play like chess. Sometimes
Hey Pookie, I don't know what happened, but your mic cut out and it doesn't show you muted or anything. Blue, you good? You good? Rich?
Internet.
You went out on my end too.
What happened to Street?
Maybe internet connection, maybe.
And then I cut out again.
What happened to
Yeah, she's on her way back in.
Maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna mute my mic again.
Maybe. And then
So did anyone hear what I said? Did anyone hear what I said?
Okay, I'm gonna mute my.
We can hear you now.
Yeah. So you
I can hear you now, Queen, but I couldn't before.
So you
You can hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if anybody caught what I just said, but I'll say it again. You know, and sometimes we got to clear the board and recognize the game here. See, it's like a game of chess. If you're going to play chess, you know, you're going to pick a white piece, you're going to think black. If you pick a black piece, you're going to think white. At some point, we got to understand that the Democrat, Republican things, I don't know if it was ever meant for us. It's just a game that doesn't really require us as a people, exclude someone. But it does not benefit us at all, especially if we couldn't even spell our name. We had to spell it with an X, or else get your hand chopped off, all kind of things. But I don't think it's a win situation either on each side. Both sides of the people will hang you too.
Hey, that's
Yep, Republican or Democrat, as she said, the joke's on us there. It only means Republican and Democrat only means something to us. To them, they know it's theatrics. They you know what I mean? They got us divided. Like, they got us divided with this Republican Democrat thing, and they're all laughing at us. It's all mockery.
Yes, that's why I did not subject myself to any political parties and or voting in itself, because we have to stop playing their game and being a part of their game and recreate the game, or we can't keep playing along with the evil characters. Like, it doesn't make any sense to try to choose between which evil you want to deal with or which corruptions you want to subject yourselves to or agree with. You know what I'm saying? Be an ally with
Absolutely.
the corruption. I just rather not participate in any of that and try to uplift my people and all righteous people in another way. You know what I'm saying? Because in the end, we the people do actually have the power. We just have to find out what we got to do to.
Yeah, but look what happens.
Searching for an adjective.
Yeah, but look what happens.
It's either you play or you get left out. So it's like, how can you move forward when it's like when you take 2 steps forward, it's pushing you like 5 steps back.
Yeah.
So either or, if we point out the obvious, when we point out the obvious that there's criminals on national TV on C-SPAN right now, walking out of the courtroom, and our people are getting locked up for life and etc. 100 years for stealing a loaf of bread, basically.
Alive right now.
So what do we do? What do we do in this aspect? Is the solution?
Queen. I really do. I really do.
I hear the brother. I hear the brother talking. I can't. Speak up, please, sir.
Oh, that was my man trying to tell one of my family members that we're on the live. But I personally agree though. I do. I feel you that we don't know what to look towards, but I know that we can't keep relying on the propaganda that we're being handed. I think that's our main message, that we need to.
It's a state of depression.
Yeah,
it's really a state of depression because we got to worry about our children out here.
Yes, and that is definitely the main concern. The children are our future.
So I think it's also a mental game, because you got to break the person down. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you got to make the other person think you have the upper hand. So it's like a conflict of ego here, and at some point we got to recognize, like, it's up to us to be like not trying to push on to say too much right now,
but spread that light, I'm very spread that light and spread that truth and spread that knowledge. Like, I understand what you mean.
Good question, ladies. We do that. We do that. We spread the truth, right? We do that. We do that. We spread the truth, right?
I'm too old to be a lady, but whatever.
I'm just being polite. I'm sorry. We spread that truth, but what do we do when 99% of the population falls for everything? 99% of the population falls for everything.
I think
you're talking to you, sis.
There's always going to be backlash, when there are new messages, being shared. but that is just that's inevitable, and I'm willing to take whatever backlash it takes to give everyone a chance that I know and that I'm connected to be have this information at reach as I do. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I can't do nothing but try my best to share and teach or inform
For sure. I agree there.
and deal with, you know, I'm
Yeah,
used
and
to the
what
criticism,
children
I'm
and
used
men
to the
is
backlash.
economics.
Yes, it's about progression, it's about liberation, it's about righteousness.
My sweater up there somewhere?
This whole thing can go left
So
because I
whatever.
could really speak out and say something. Like, I feel personally like no matter what, we still need our men to be in the forefront. I'm talking about our black men to be in the forefront because what we're seeing on this aspect, I mean, I can't answer a question for somebody who needs to go to their people and ask that question. You feel me?
Yep, I do.
And
But
if I could
y'all,
put
I'm gonna
my
have to
opinion
dip
in there,
because
please.
my phone
Because
is
far as
dying.
my men go, it's a shame they're dying on the streets and we're just stepping on puddles of blood. And it's our blood that built this country. And it's just,
Yes,
I'm a hush.
that built this country and that we're native to this country as well. Don't leave that out.
Go
And my
ahead,
guy
Blue.
wanted to go ahead,
I'm
brother.
50-50 on that, you know.
But girl, you have to realize that our DNA is millions of years old. So that means we inhabited this entire planet before there were even any
That's
other
right.
different kind of people.
But we're
So
going to
that's what we
claim
gotta know.
land. If you're going to, hold on, if we're going to claim land here, if we're going to claim land, let's be real. You know, this ain't no Pocahontas fairy tale, you know. So if we're going to sit up here and claim land, then, and you're going to put it in black and white, then we should already understand that the amount of slaves and amount of acres pretty much oversees Canada, United States, that is old, you know. So like I say, like how is someone going to give you something that's sitting on 20 acres and expect you to 40? That makes sense. The numbers don't add up here. So it's kind of like a riddle, you know, but it's not a good, you know, not well written.
At
So we got to
all.
follow the rules, right?
Yeah,
In all the games, we got to follow the rules.
Yeah, but I do feel like there will be a point where we make our own rules, but I think we have to gain our own control of our own group of people, you know, before we try to do that. We have to unite before we try to
Right.
do that type of stuff. And I think that's what conversations like these are beneficial for. So, but y'all, I love to keep talking. I really want to keep talking. Maybe another day or in the near future. But my phone is down. I only got 10%. So I'm gonna holler at y'all later, and I'm gonna check and share
I
this
know that
live
feeling.
later. All right,
thanks for
peace.
coming through, my.
Thank
I
you
Peace
for
and
really
love.
having me,
appreciate
bro.
it.
Peace,
Yeah.
light, family, love. Catch y'all
Peace.
later.
Hey, Blue. Go ahead and speak your piece.
All right. So can everybody hear me good?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. So just to answer Rich's question, basically what we do is we take like minds and we separate. Whoever want to fall for the okie doke, they get stuck in the bear trap. We showed you the sign that says bear trap ahead. We're not gonna. We can't spoon feed you. It's too late.
I heard that.
Like basically take like minds. We go over here, build our own shit, and we prosper like we supposed to. End of story.
I can feel that.
Yeah, because young Pharaoh always says the patriotic whites and the conscious blacks, we need to just separate from everybody else and then just mutually exist.
Because we're already on the same wave.
The conscious blacks, we build ourselves up. Well, I mean,
as a society or not? No, this is a great idea.
It's a lot of untreated wounds that society has inflicted on Black people, and because the majority won't even acknowledge the role that they played in the detriment of our present day, there can be no healing. You get me?
Yep.
Like it's going to take more than just one Rich or one Zach or one what's another Jeff Daughtry. It's going to take more than a couple of y'all to make change, because the majority don't believe they did anything wrong. Yeah, go ahead.
As I've said before, I'm 41 years old. When I was 10, 12 years old, I heard the N-word frequently. We grew up around this stuff, right? But I still, I played sports with Black people. I hung out in Black neighborhoods. I lived in Black neighborhoods. To me, like right now in this conversation, if I hear one of you guys say my people, I feel left out, because I also should be your people, because you're my people. When it comes to fighting the ritualistic federal government, white or Black, we have to look in the same direction and point to our enemy. And that is the secret society motherfuckers.
That's true. Hold on, Fuki. Hold on. Let me. Hold on.
Okay, so basically that's just going to come down to being specific.
Okay, so basically that's just going to come down. Nah, because I know how Fuki give it up. So let me clean it up a little bit before she gets to go.
No, I'm not gonna give it up too much. I won't give it up too much, but I could hear the sensitivity in your voice, and you know what? That's somewhat of your culture. You white men love. What? No offense, you white men, or do I mean to offend? You white men like to be playing very sensitive. We live in 2020. I don't know where decade you've been in, but not all of us is gonna play into your needs. Like nobody wants to be your mammy anymore. Do you understand what I'm saying? So our men, what I'm talking about is that our men had to toughen up in this society, and you want to sit up here and talk about you feel left out. Well, ain't nobody going to play the help with you. It's either you're going to get it or you're not going to get it. Like, I think you totally misunderstood what I was saying. You've been left out if that's the case. You've been left out with your own people, not letting you know what's going on. You have to inform everybody else what's going on. But I guess you've been left out of the meetings, right? You've been left out of the meetings. The point I was making was so small to my overall point. And I just fixed your point. That's trying to help you fix your own mindset here. You need to really think. Sensitive? Yeah, white men are very sensitive. Period. Wow. Our men are less sensitive because they have to. Oh yeah, they have to deal with the opinions of white men. They have to deal with the corruption of the world around them, of you people. So when I say my people, and I'm definitely not including you. So if you feel offended by that, then go look at the movie Help and get your emotions together, and get a box of tissues. Other than that, what do you want me to say? That's my reaction towards that. You're actually totally wrong about all this and about me. Yeah, you're wrong about me. You go off. You go off. Well, I haven't even got a chance to explain myself.
Can I interject?
You know what, Richard? I think what you got. You got like a broken clock in your head. It's like a little tick, tick, tick. You know what I mean? You need to oil it up I haven't even related to what you're talking about the entire time.
Can I interject, please?
I'll eat you down to the bone.
Know me.
Seriously.
No, you ain't chewed nothing because you haven't even let me respond. So
see, that's how you white men love to use that word, motherfucker.
You're racist.
Because you've had made a lot of people motherfuckers in this world, right? Raping Black women and having them rape their own children, or having the men rape their children in the past, and you're the creators of motherfucker. See, if you weren't racist, you wouldn't use that word motherfucker.
I got a Black brother.
But you're all up in your emotions, and I just called you out. You fucking weak.
I got a fucking black brother. I don't know how I'm racist. Oh yeah, I don't have a Black brother. Okay. Yeah, I'm fucking racist. You don't fucking know me.
Yo, hold on. Chill.
You
No,
said it
she's racist.
yourself.
Chill.
She's racist, bro.
Oh no,
She's
that's
fucking
okay. Let
racist.
them come at me though.
Hold on.
Let's,
No.
and
I'm
I
not
would chew you down to the bone. Just know
I'm not
that.
gonna let that rock. Chill.
Pesticide.
Everybody chill.
You can chew someone down to the bone when you don't let them
Look
respond
at him.
themselves.
I'm about to mute. I'm about to Pookie, come on. Y'all getting out of control, yeah. It ain't supposed to be about that. All right. Pookie is allowed to feel like if you are not of our race, then you can't be our people. But I understand, Rich, what you mean by if you're fighting the system, then you are my people. But there is a lot of, white people that mean well cannot ignore the racial hurt that Black people carry. I understand that a lot of y'all don't look at color, but we aren't afforded that luxury of not seeing color. I'll put it this way. The other day I dealt with the whole racist family at my job. I'll put it that way. They were very racist. They were looking me up and down. They act like they didn't want me to touch their food, couldn't look me in the eye, all types of shit. They had the dirty American shirts on, looked like they were like living in a trailer park. And where I'm at, it's like the suburbs. So I'm like, how did y'all even get out here? Type shit. So it's like I walk home at night by myself because I don't have a whip. I've been saving up for a whip. And all I can have is pepper spray right now. And I don't feel safe in my neighborhood. And this is the suburbs. See, that's the difference between the Black man's experience and anybody else's, because we don't feel safe anywhere. In the hood, we're a target from our own people. And in the suburbs, we're a target from everybody else. So I understand Pookie's anger and sentiment. So I think a righteous white person sometimes have to take that feeling, that anger that Black people have to the chin. If you want, it's a different revolution that you're looking for, because you're trying to get tyrants out of the government, but we're trying to get freedom from the average person, from the average Joe. You feel me? Like it's not a beast in the high tower that we have to reach for. It's the motherfucker sitting right next to us. And we can't discern whether a white person is being nice to us just because they want our money, or they're playing a game, or if they're genuine. We don't know, and there is absolutely no way for us to know. And I'm telling you, as an associate, because we're trying to wake people up, but there is just, as a Black person, there's just stuff that you just won't understand. And that's why I wanted to put that sentiment before Pookie started talking, but y'all didn't let me because y'all was ready. Y'all always on go. So I'm going to unmute y'all and I'm going to let y'all rock. But before I do, I want Blue to say something, because I really don't appreciate anybody cussing at a woman in front of me, especially a Black woman in front of me, because I grew up with domestic violence, and that makes me angry and that makes me upset. So I don't want to ever see that again from anybody, because at the end of the day, whether anybody like what she got to say, she's still a goddess, she's still a queen, she's still a woman, she's somebody's sister, she might be somebody's mama, I don't know. So that disrespecting the Black woman, I just can't have it. Disrespecting women, period, I just can't have it. So I am going to unmute everybody, but I want Blue to talk first, and then Pookie and Rich, y'all can do what y'all always do, which is bump heads for some reason. Okay? All right, all right, go ahead, Blue.
Well, I ain't I ain't really have nothing that I was trying to get out specifically. I kind of just shut up already. So unless there was another question that was asked that I didn't catch, y'all got it.
I don't think so. So yeah, y'all can go ahead unless y'all gonna get to arguing again. I don't want to hear no cussing, no screaming, no name calling. Just get y'all sentiments out and let's be respectful, because y'all always bump heads and I don't know why. But all right, I'm gonna mute it and y'all go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Are we done? Yeah.
All right. I wasn't trying to fuel a riot. I was just picking up off the energies. They seem very negative. That's all.
I think he just took it personal with the,
He's
talking about my people and all that kind of stuff. Which I mean, he has a choice whether to take offense to it or not, just as much as you have a choice to say it. So his sentiment and feeling like he's attacked, I can't say that he can't feel like that.
Okay, I can say it. Why do you feel attacked, Richard? Why do you feel so attacked?
I'm muting so you can speak.
Unmute yourself.
Well, anyway. Does he know to unmute himself or?
No, I didn't because I thought Studi muted me, so I didn't know.
Oh, I muted myself. But go ahead.
So why was I offended there? Because first I just found out that you must have been the last. You must have been the person to call me Slim Shady last time. That you? So
I called you that.
He said we argue all the time. This is the first time I remember arguing with you. But I got an argument with someone last time. It must have been you. So I don't like being called a racist. I don't like someone cutting me off and not letting me respond, because when I said I feel left out, all I meant was a small point that when I think we're all white or black, it's not. If my friend Terry Brown, who is my brother, if me and him think we're brothers, no, it ain't like bro. No, we would.
No, I mean, I said it like how you said it, like Hulk Hogan, right? Brother. I said it just like how you said it. So you're making fun of the way I talk? That's kind of rude.
White or black, if you're a family with somebody, you're family and you got each other's back. It's not a white or black thing. And it shouldn't be. Otherwise, we're being racist.
What is it? What kind of thing is it, though? I want to know, like, what kind of thing is it? Because if you're growing up around racist and you made a statement saying that you hate your ancestors, right? Because you got the right one. That's me.
Yes, I have. If I don't like the fact people used to be racist.
How do you even know what a brother is if you don't even claim your own ancestors. That's just weird
Oh,
to me.
so I have people in my life that I've been close to, no matter what color they are.
No, I just want to know where your spiritual beliefs are. If you don't really, we're people who's in tune with our ancestors, and we know our history and stuff. You know your own history. So what defines a brother to you is the question. A black man being your brother, what is a defiance of that? Not biologically. I know you're going to say that.
Because they're someone I bond with. It happens to be a person I'm close with. I kick it with. That person would do anything for me, and I would do anything for them. And it doesn't matter what color their skin is.
And that doesn't apply? I mean, you didn't say that same mentality when you said your ancestors, right? You don't like your ancestors? So are you saying that the people who have the same ancestors as you don't have that connection with?
I don't quite remember. If you're talking about 2 weeks ago when I said that. When I say, if white people own slaves, I don't like them. Is that clear?
If your people own slaves, you don't like them?
Okay, I don't give a freak about my family 200 years ago that I don't even know. And if they were slave owners, I don't care about them.
All right, but you
do
benefit
I even
from
know
them,
my
right?
road? Do I even know my road? I mean, I don't even know why I'm debating this. I do not believe in slavery. If I have family 200 years ago,
But you believe in the benefits of it, right?
The benefits of it?
Because
how old are you? Are you like 22 or something and you know it all?
I'm older than you. And I'm older than your mother and your grandmother and your great-grandmother. That's who you're talking to. Because you're trying to insult me, but it's not working.
You already insulted me 6 times.
How? I'm just asking you a simple question, and you're still not answering it. How many times do I have to ask you the same question? You're not answering it.
I guess once more.
How is a black man your brother?
Because we consider each other that. Because we're that tight. It's simple. My phone in before it dies.
Anyway, you consider the benefits of your ancestors, what they done to that black brother, but his ancestors know what your ancestors has done. So where's the connection here? Because I don't see how ever you could be so persuasive of finding out information that your people continue on and not recognize the people who share the same ancestors as you, as another white man, as your brother, or another white man who might think the same way as you and consider him as a brother. But everybody suddenly is your brother. Turn to Genesis chapter 1, brothers and sisters. I know what brothers mean. Some of us need to read the Butcher Rifle Bible back in the day. Those were our very patriotic brothers. So I ain't trying to go back and forth with you. What I'm trying to understand as a black woman, how can a white man consider a black man his brother and not whatsoever address the people who look like him, who kills the people he calls his brother? That's what I'm trying to understand. When you say that's your brother.
I finally get your question. The first mistake you're making is that you're calling those people my people. Those people are not my people.
Okay, let's stop saying my people. Who are the people you're addressing right now so we don't confuse the topic?
Just because someone's white, they're not my ancestors. I don't look at it like that.
You say how old I am, but whatever. You can't even communicate.
Well, I don't look at, because white people, they're my ancestors.
I told you I'm too old to be called a lady.
I didn't call you a lady.
No? Okay.
Studi. I tried,
What's
and
Tootie
this
gonna
lady's
do
got a
to
total
me?
bad impression of me. Now called you a lady. Hit me up when she's not on the show, bro.
All right. Let's defuse the situation.
Hey, if you guys want to continue talking, I just asked a simple question, but since you want to get so offensive and say that you want to just disconnect from your brother, I feel like that's kind of janky because that's not what you do. Because then now I recognize like the mentality of you.
Man, you be lighting his ass up every time, yo. That's crazy. Y'all.
I don't know what I said wrong. I just wanted him to answer a question for me. I never could get the right answer, so I don't mean any disrespect to you on your platform, Studi. But to be honest with you, I just like he said and how he feels is his problem. But he's not going to reflect that type of energy on me because I'm a loving person.
Let me be 100% clear. This platform is for people who are unfiltered and who say how they feel. This is called the Who Asked You podcast. You don't have to filter yourself. I just didn't like the fact that he started yelling and cussing at you, so I had to kind of check him on that.
No, I see that all the time. You know when I see when they do that? I see that when brothers are on the field cracking their head on the football field, and they're sitting there eating their Cracker Jacks and laughing in the football stands. You know, that's when I see it. But I'm a different type of breed, you know what I mean? I'm just a different type of breed and I just move a different way. I told you I could be I'm not like a normal, like, you know, can relate to everybody. I'm just very brutal when I come and say what I have to say. Rather, you know, if anybody gonna correct me, I'd rather it be you, Studi, to correct me, or one of the brother you said Blue, or somebody else to come and correct me. So that way I could see a different type of perspective or something like that. But ain't no way ever will I ever want to be.
You said what you said. Whether somebody gets offended or not, that's their choice. If you feel like he can't be your people, then that's just what it is. And I, like I said to him, white righteous people have to take that to the chin, because there is a lot of unstitched wounds that we have from our history together. So if you as a black queen feel like a white person can't be your partner, then that's just what it is. Like, I don't know.
That's a slow snake right there. That's a slow snake that can't really pinpoint where to bite me at. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like off with the heads already, and I'm wearing it already on my head. Are you guys really that scared?
Y'all be intellectually boxing street. If you don't know what we talking about what was it? What time was that, Blue? About 2:25 or something like that. They started going in, yo, and they do it every time. And
I gotta check it out. I missed it. My phone died and ended up jumping off the panel, and then I took a shower because I just came home from work, and then I seen your message. And by the time I just seen the end result of it, but at the end of the day, you're absolutely right. A lot of times, what they gotta understand is that even though they feel like they're in the same space as us, they're in the same mental space as us, they might even have some of the same beliefs as us. When we having those conversations, some things they gotta be willing to listen to and somewhat take on. You know what I mean? Like we have to deal with that on a constant basis. We have to deal with that more often than not. We have to deal with people telling us to get over shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We deal with that all the time. We have to deal with people accusing us of playing victim. I ain't no victim. Ain't nothing about me a victim. But you have to acknowledge the things that shaped some of us to be who we are and to feel and think how we are. You can't just discount it. You just can't say, it's easy for you to say how you feel. You can't take away the presentation of yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Like when we can't change our skin color. We don't take it off and put it back on. You, whether that's you want to consider people your brother, sister or not, you represent, we all represent those people that that people believe that we look like. That's always the case. That's
Because
always going to be that way.
You made me think about this. It's almost as if, and I'm not saying Rich is doing this, but it's almost as if colorism does not favor them anymore, so they don't want to hear it. You get what I'm saying? It can't be used. It's not a weapon of division anymore. It's not like, oh, I'm white, so you know what I'm saying? Like that power is kind of gone. So now it's like, no, it's not about race, but it's been about race since we was put on the boat. You feel me? So it's kind of awkward because it's like I'm cool. I'm associate. Like I'm associates with some white people, but can I honestly say that I trust? If I don't trust I'm sorry, I ain't trying to be facetious, but if I don't trust a nigga, I for damn sure ain't gonna trust somebody that's not of my people. You feel me?
And that's all fact. That's all facts. And you can't get somewhere. Like if we're having these conversations and discussions, you almost have to be willing. You almost have to be willing to have the tough conversations and actually listen. You actually have to recognize, and similar to the conversations we was having over on my channel, and Skeletor, he sat there and he actually listened to what was being said. He didn't have to agree with what was being said, but he listened to what the women was saying. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the queens feel a little bit different. Like we can have certain discussions and we might even have them a certain way. But a lot of the women feel a little bit differently than some of the men do when it comes to those relationships. And you can't not address the elephant in the room, which is race first.
Pookie
when it comes to a lot of things.
Pookie has a very strong, and I'm not just trying to boost, but I just from my interactions and me getting to know her, she has a very, very, very strong warrior goddess type energy to herself. So she can't I'm not trying to call Rich weak, but a weak man can't handle a woman like Pookie because she is gonna hurt your feelings. Like he can't. It's like his consciousness level is not the same as Skeletor's. I think if Skeletor was up here, he probably could have handled it a better way because when we got to talking how we felt, Skeletor was more lean back, listening, gathering his thoughts, analyzing what we were talking about. Rich is more like, I want to say what I want to say, and he's kind of got that kind of a controlling energy a little bit. Like he wants to keep pushing gematria, affect news, and all that. Like he's kind of like one of those people who's just like, I'm going to, this is my energy and this is what I want to push, so you got to listen. And Pookie is more like, I'm just going to throw them stingers and you just going to have to feel them, and I don't care. And when those two powerful personalities clash, somebody getting hurt, and it ain't been Pookie. It's 2-0 right now.
And that's kind of hard, getting upset and yelling, which happens. It's not to say that it doesn't happen, but sometimes it's better to just listen and then respond.
Right.
Because once you start getting emotional, then you start saying irrational things. You're not being rational when you're dealing with emotion. You know what I mean? And it happens. It happens to everybody. We all go through it. I done been through it. I try not to, because I don't like saying things that don't make sense.
Pookie, I don't know. Pookie know how to. Cause look, Fuki was like when you watch it back, and I'm trying not to make light of the situation because I'm smiling, but it's just the power of women is just amazing to me. But Pookie said, "You're an emotion." Like she said, white men are emotional. And within 2 minutes of the conversation, he was screaming. And I'm like, dog, that's crazy. Like, that's like, I don't know.
You know, some of them don't want to take. They don't like. We are asked to take accountability all the time. We ask each other to take accountability. They don't really take accountability. They separate themselves from it on a constant basis. They don't really have it head on. I'm sorry, Queen. You can go ahead.
Studio, I'm sorry too. Studio, I'm not trying to say that, you know, that our black men, I think to me personally, black men feel different. They hone, you know, they harvest a lot of disappointments, and they are constantly in a battle of challenging their masculinity up against a faggot. No, there I go. I gotta be straight honest, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to without like going too far, but they gotta sit, you know, when their bodies are telling them move, you know, in the classroom. And sometimes when he talks, when this Richard guy talks, it's almost like he's trying to train dogs, you know, and I pick up on that, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, no, I know where it's already going, you know? So, but to me personally, at some point, I think there's times where black men want to scream to the top of their lungs, and they just fucking can't, you know? They want to, as a little boy, you're moving, you're active, you know, you get up, you get stronger, your strength is different, you know, than some emotional ass creature who could sit there and act very bitch like. You know what I mean? It's just call it a spade what a spade is, you know what I mean? Just be real about it. If anybody's gonna correct me wrong or right, you gotta recognize who you're saying, who's my brother and who's not my brother. You know what I mean? Definitely ain't gonna be your fucking self or anybody else. There's been plenty of times I called a white bitch a raisin face ass cracker, and I don't have no problem throwing her the badge and saying I quit this fucking job. You know what I mean? Because there ain't no way you're gonna ever disrespect me or like you. I've always been like, they're trying to push you into that corner, but they realize that they're messing with the wrong type of breed, you know? And it's like, you know, at this point, if you think you're going to push me into a wall, pick a fucking wall, pick one. Because at the end of the day, I told you I'm going to eat you down to the bone. And all I asked was a simple question. When you sit up here and say that black men are your brothers, what do you mean by that? And, you know, I can ask black men, you know, you black men here, what do you feel like when they say, you're my brother? The only times they ever defending you is when you're paying them a price in court to defend you as a lawyer. Or only time they're defending you is because they could get into the house parties and grab up on Tamika and Tasha. You know what I mean? So it's just like me personally, I just got tunnel vision. I see past all of that shit. It's not like you could sugarcoat it as much as you want, but to me, it's shit.
Well, hey, Pookie,
I don't know if I'm saying something wrong and it's late or whatever, but I just want to know, how do you guys feel when they sit up there and say that, but yet I don't like my ancestors, but yet you benefited.
Hey, Pookie,
I ain't gonna take no blood money, you know.
And
that's just the righteous mindset. If you're a righteous person, I'm not gonna take blood. Huh?
Can I ask you something, Pookie? Do you feel like I did right by you by what I said to him after I felt like he disrespected? what I said to him.
See, I face this a lot. So, you know what I mean? I told you when I was a little girl, I faced seeing, you know, my mother being slammed to the ground by a police officer wrongly going in the wrong house, or looking for my uncle following me to school, sicking their dogs on me, throwing eggs at me, calling me niggers, having guns pointed at me and my mother. I've been through it all. I've seen a lot of it. I heard stories my grandfather seeing his brother being buried alive. He was nothing but a little boy. There's nothing he could do. You don't know how far back this goes, but I know a lot about my people, and you know, you grow up in school and they try to train you to be comfortable around the people that is going to, you know, to be your bosses someday, or be walking past your jail cell, you know. So what I'm trying to say is, I guess I'm getting a little bit mixed up, you know what I mean? But I don't feel like you did anything wrong at all. And I don't want you to feel like I come here and I fuck up your platform or anything like that.
No.
And that's how people try to twist shit around. I that's why I say I've been here. This ain't my first time.
No. Listen to me clear. I wanted to make sure that I did right by you, and you felt like I protected you and spoke up for you. That's what I was trying to make sure.
You did put him in his place about swearing at me, whatever. But you know, he was already
You felt like, you know what I'm saying.
You put him in timeout. You know, he's used to that.
Okay, but I understand the sentiment of bro and brother. I know what comes with that. I know that some white people feel like that's an open door to say nigga. I know that it is kind of an open door of the black experience.
Mm-hmm.
I know that brother is kind of like it's a stronger word than what they think it. I guess. Like I would consider Rich an associate, more than a friend, because I grew up, and this is why I grew up with a white kid. Like from the time we were, I'll say 12, 13 to we're about 20. And he literally was racist towards me the whole time. And there was just certain things that I didn't see as racism, but as I got older, I recognized what it was. Like he said, I remember one time we were eating dinner, and he was like, "Oh, you can't get." We was eating macaroni. He was like, "Oh, you can't get this with food stamps," implying that my family got food stamps. Don't. Little did he know his mama was on welfare the whole entire time. But I say that to say that I could never fully see anybody of any other race as my friend fully, because there's always an underlying racial component that it's not going to go away. Am I ever going to? Do I hate white people? No. Do I have resentment about the state of my people? Yes. Do I trust white people? To be honest, not really. Do I feel safe walking in suburbia? No, I don't. Do I tense up when police drive by, or when I'm serving them food at my job? Yes, I tense up every time. Do I have to make sure that I'm not, because I'm a big guy. I got muscle and all that. So I have to be cautious about how I appear to people. So, because one wrong move, and now the couch being called. So there's a lot of psychological things in the black men. Even like when I walk home at night, I'm thinking like, okay, a truck could just pull, because there's some hillbillies out here. They could be like, oh, this nigga by himself. And then it's like, where's Studi at? You feel me? So there's a lot of components about being a black man that even white, not white, even black women don't experience, and
That's a
probably vice
fact.
versa. But as a black man, there's just a lot of stuff that other people don't have to think about. So I understand the sentiment of bro, but every other race will always be an associate.
Yeah, and I agree with almost everything Studi said. I go do that in the workplace. People appear to be like they cool. I was told the other day. Well, a lady said to me the other day she wanted to speak to a manager. I happen to be the manager. She looked me in my face and said, "Managers don't have dreads." And she just really wanted to speak to a white person. Now, what she said ain't the part that agitated me. What agitated me is what everybody else was saying when they thought that I wasn't around. And those are the type of things that happen all the time. Now, if I went off and I raise my voice, and anytime I talk, people take it as threatening because my voice happened to be a little deeper than theirs, then it comes across some type of way. But I'm not going to change the way I talk to make anybody uncomfortable. I'm not doing that. I didn't have to do it. And they tell you you're supposed to. People say it. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Why? What have you done so I can make you comfortable? If you can't deal with me on my terms and you not my people, I'm not doing that. You ain't earned that right. And I don't believe we should keep doing that. We do this all the time. We the only people that got to change everything about ourselves to make somebody else feel comfortable being around us.
Code switching.
Yep. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. We change the way we talk. Well, the tone of our voice, not really the way we talk. We change the way we walk. We change a lot of things just to make some of them feel comfortable. Now, to your question about the bro thing, as Studi said, that's code for a lot of different things. And some of it come because they truly believe, because they grew up in a certain environment or grew up maybe less fortunate, that they can relate. So then we're brothers. No, we're not. Because poor, you growing up poor or you growing up in a particular neighborhood doesn't mean you can relate to my experience, because that can change. My skin color doesn't change. You're not going to be treated the same way that I'm treated. Not now, you might not be let into the fancy spot or party, but if you clean up well, they probably let you in before they let me in. You don't have to deal with the same issues with police. You don't have to explain the same thing to your kids that I have to do. It's a difference. So when they say that, I always like to remind them of that, because it's not, no, we cool. It's okay. We might even share some same sentiments. We might even feel the same way about government structure and a lot of other things. But you can never truly be my brother, especially since you're not taking time out to understand. Because in order for me to call you brother, it means we have to have some sort of love for each other. And to me, love is a higher form of understanding. And if you can't understand me, there's no way you can love me.
Big facts. Big.
That's that OG energy. All right, I'm gonna mute myself so Blue you can talk.
Well, I'm gonna start with the bro sentiment. For me personally, coming up, bro was low key a taboo word. Like, you didn't use that unless it was that exact sentiment that street knowledge just expounded upon. You was careful with who you call your bro. Like, somebody will look at you funny and be ready to square up about that word. These days, it's not used in nowhere near the respect level. So the way that I look at it, I basically feel like somebody is trying to let me know that basically trying to keep me at ease that they won't do me no harm. Like it's something meant to appease my mind, and I understand that about people, because that's what I've been doing my entire life as a Pisces sun, is observing everything. So when it comes to anybody of a different race calling me bro, I completely swap that for comrade, for something that you going through the same experience. Nothing that's going to signify, again, like Street Knowledge said, love. And it's literally as simple as that. Like, love is that next level understanding, period.
Yeah, I was listening, but Rich is like saying, "Oh, take me out, edit me out the video. You should have spoke up for me. She's a racist, all that stuff." But I'm trying to explain to him that my only job is to be neutral and to make sure that no disrespect is given. I told Pookie that he has a right to feel how he wants to. And I told him that she has a right to not want to be considered a bro or femme or anything like that by another race. And I checked him about yelling and cussing at her because she didn't yell and cuss. Like, just because you don't like what somebody says, that does not give you the open door to be disrespectful. Like, this isn't the platform to do that. Like, if you're triggered by someone calling you racist, then stop displaying racist characteristics, because nobody can't call you anything. Like, somebody can't come to me and be like, "Oh, you skinny, bro," because I'm big. I'm not displaying skinny characteristics. So you can't get mad if somebody sees from your body language, from your tone, from even him texting me 30,000 messages right now is kind of showing the racial point of view that Pookie was saying. And I still stand on what I said. If you're going to be white and deal with black people, especially because the woke black people are have the most powerful personalities, your feelings just gonna get hurt. Like, we don't get to say, edit me out the video where the cop was beating my ass. We don't get to say that. We don't get to edit your boss saying little racial shit to you, or customers looking at you a certain way or treating you a certain way, or we don't get to edit out having to dress, walk, talk, think, eat a certain way to not seem like a threat. Like, we don't get to edit that out. So no, I'm not editing anything. And
what is his reason for wanting to be edited out of the video?
Because things didn't go as planned.
Yeah, I guess he felt like I should have defended him and that she's a racist. That's all I really read. Because I don't.
But you can't, and people need to stop throwing that word around. We can't be racist.
That too.
That's an action.
I've been wanting to say that all day.
We all are prejudiced. Every single human being is prejudiced. But me not liking you is not hindering you in your life no way. Racism is an action. We don't have enough power to be racist.
I just wish that there could be some type of middle ground, because I'm trying to have an this is a black centric channel. I have never crossed that line to where I said that I would put anybody else's feelings ahead of the black people. From my very first video until now, I have always made it a point to say that this is a black experience channel. So any other race that comes up here is just going to have to deal with it or don't come around, because I'm not going to tell a black woman that she can't have her opinion, whether it's harsh or not. That's her personality. Because I know men that talk worse than her. So it's like, yo, like, what do you like? What I'm not the buffer for white people. That's not my role. Like, I'm sorry. I know I seem friendly. I know that I articulate myself. I know that I'm intelligent. But that does not mean at the end of the day I'm not a black man. Like, stop equating intelligence and being able to. What word am I looking for? It's not articulate, but stop taking my open demeanor as a doorway into asserting yourself. Because I can turn it around like that. Like, I almost went to jail for fighting the white boy for calling us niggers while we were playing basketball. Like, I beat a white dude's ass in Tennessee for hitting me one time and he didn't touch me again. Like, I'm not Uncle Tom. I'm not what is it? I'm not Sambo. I'm not none of that. I'm not the white man's nigga, man. It's pissing me off.
But see, he had the opportunity to actually redeem himself within the conversation. He decided to leave. He could have actually listened and responded, and even chose, if he wanted to, not to address the queen and address you with whatever issue that he had it, and he decided not to. You don't get to leave and then have the issue. You should have took that head on here. You know, because you gotta realize, no different than what happened over on my channel. We had no idea. I never seen Skeletor the God before. He came up there. The women said what they said about what he said. I said what I had to say, and then he said what he had to say. But at the end of the day, whether he agreed or not, he took it. Right. Because I think he understood the atmosphere that he was in. I think the only difference thing here is that Rich might have been confused of what y'all relationship was. So he felt like you should have took up for him in a situation that, if he would have had understanding of who you was, he would have known that there was no shot of that happening. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But that's him not having understanding of who you are. He think because y'all have some things that y'all think similar on, that he know who you are. You know what I'm saying? And people get that misconstrued all the time in all different types of situations. I think he learned today, and I think you learned about him through that today. In the end result of this moving forward, how he responds and acts afterwards, you will see who he really is. And all it's going to do is show, because a lot of times, and that's why I like when women are involved in conversation, they see things we don't see sometimes. They hear things we don't hear sometimes. They expose things that we all the time not in position to expose. You know what I mean? Because they tend to be able to bring emotion out of men no matter what color the man is. They able to push certain buttons and control certain narratives and dynamics to make things happen. And who knows, after he calmed down, that narrative might change or whatever. But at the end of the day, if he sit back and reflect and watch what happened and I'm gonna go back and do that as soon as this is over.
But
But
see, I
he
feel
should
like
actually learn something from the experience instead of as um taking it as she as her being a racist, but look at her experiences that shaped that. Take some accountability, because the people that allowed these things to happen is just as responsible as the people who did it.
right. My issue is that I don't know what about me makes him think that I'm like the buffer though. Like I don't think I present myself as I don't want to say it because they might take me off, but a COON, I don't
Yeah.
think I display myself as that. Like I never ever put a different race in front of me. I don't understand why he would feel comfortable even screaming and cussing at her, because all of my sentiments is that I put the black woman first.
Yeah, I think
Like,
he thought
I don't know.
because y'all have some type of understanding when it come to certain subject matter, that y'all relationship was different than what he believed
I
it
wouldn't
was.
let a black man speak to her like that though. I
Yeah,
would
I
have said the
would. I
exact
can't
same
stand
thing.
it. I can't stand for a man like I do this on. I can't stand that. Like I don't do it, and I don't like to see
Yeah,
other men do it, regardless of what the situation is. I believe women should be spoke to a certain way. I don't believe they should be talked down to, disrespected in any form of capacity. I daggone sure don't like it to happen in front of me. I don't like to hear about it. Shaden had to tell me 3 or 4 times to leave certain situations alone when somebody has said something to her. Cause I don't like saying
hmm
that, because I don't that it just doesn't look, the optics of that don't look right to me. You
right.
know what I mean? Like I don't like that, and it can't happen on my watch. And I don't think, you know what I mean, most stand-up guys don't like saying that or hearing that, whatever you want to call it. It's just never no excuse for that. You know what I mean? It's just not my personal opinion. Even though it seemed like it's almost a normal thing for some people, but our women been talked down to enough.
And you know what I was trying to do, because I could have just yapped him when he was yelling and all that, right? I could have just kicked him off the stream. But I wanted not only for her voice to be heard, but I wanted him to understand that you don't do that. Like you gotta be strong. She didn't do nothing to you. She ain't harmed you. Y'all not even in the same spot. There is no reason why you should be screaming on a computer screen to no women just
Yeah.
because you don't like what she said. Like I hear shit every day that I don't like to hear. I gotta listen to fucking top 40 music all fucking day that I hate. That don't mean I'm gonna start screaming. The truth is the truth. She didn't say anything wrong. She was saying actual factuals, and the truth hurts. But you know who it hurts more? The people who have to live through it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
Like,
think that was the part that triggered him, because it when you can't combat something with facts, it's hard to deal with facts. It's hard to deal with that, and when you can't attack something through the facts, the next thing to go through is emotion and anger, because then that's the only way to do it. And I done seen that a few times. I done seen it when people have debates and debates turn into that, which I always believe that is just like it's pointless, but it turns into that only because the person doesn't have anything else to stand on.
right.
And some of it comes from people just regurgitating things they heard somebody else say. So it's hard to actually have an intellectual conversation when somebody is attacking you, bringing facts. And I think that was part of the issue. And he
And
wanted to be saved. He was expecting for you to save him. That's just not what he got. Hopefully, he
yeah,
gained some sort of understanding from it. I would hope that, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, They need to be taught.
He said that, and you know what? He said that more than once, and that's why that it doesn't seem genuine, because is that your crutch every time a black person, every time you get into an argument with a black person, then you say, "Oh, my brother is black," because that's what it's looking like. Like if that's really like you, that's something that you shouldn't have to try to prove, or that shouldn't be in your back pocket every time somebody says something that you don't like about racial stuff. You cannot say, "Oh, it's not about race because I don't feel that way." Well, the majority does, and that's what I always tell people. It does not matter. It could be 1,000 white people that love black people, like really genuine love them, but the other 5 million don't give a fuck about what y'all talking
really
about.
don't. And like like I was saying the other day on my channel, they will. The difference is, like, a lot of people believe that racists don't want to be around us. They don't want nothing to do with us. They are good at using. They are opportunists. They will spend time with you. They will get money with you. They would do a whole lot to use and still be around you. So how do we supposed to trust? Because that's the key word when we're talking about being brothers. It's hard for any of us to be able to trust. Now, I would say this: my generation is really not. We just don't. Our experiences are different, so we tend not to trust. We're in the generation way before us was really prejudiced when it comes to that. I think those things are kind of changing.
Now he's saying to delete everything that we've ever done. See, that's
wow,
such a coward.
That's crazy.
So like
wow,
now I'm gonna disrespect you because that's real pussy.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
When he said that, when you said that his true colors gonna show, like you can't even stand on your own too. You can't defend yourself. You can't take it to the chin and be like, okay, maybe I was tripping. You can't do none of it. No, I'm not doing it. Flag me then.
That's crazy. That's very unfortunate that he's taken it that far, but it showed who he really is. That's pretty much what it showed. But I gotta bow out. I appreciate you for having me back on. Hopefully we can come over and do this again. It was nice meeting you, Queen. And everybody else that appeared on the panel. I'm going to go back and watch what happened after I left. And we'll talk about it another time. Salute. I appreciate y'all.
All right, Street.
I appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Peace and love.
Peace.
Yeah, Studi, it's just a shame, you know. I think he's even talking about the other video we did.
Nah, we done did like some 4 gematria videos. Like I got whole lectures with him on it, and I'm not deleting them. Like it's not gonna happen. So like,
it's just like what I said earlier. You know, it didn't take no time to go ahead and call it out what it was. You know, but let's just say it didn't go 100 years ago. Let's say I grew up in a town when they started shutting down pools in black communities. You know, and then they started luring black boys into the woods, and then they would tell them jump into the riverbanks and the currents, and they were their bros, they were their best friends, they're the ones skating board with them, jumping ramps with them, you know, every single day. And they were luring them into the woods and having them jump into rivers. And this is not too long ago. A lot of them disappear up there because they can't really swim. Some were lucky enough to swim and go report it, but the police department, the sheriff, didn't ever do anything. So you that's my definition. When I hear it, I want to see the difference between, you know, like what you do. Like you want to see the difference between, is this person genuine, what they mean or not. But I just can't. I already know what it is, you know. And just having to see even my older brother or cousins having to jump in and save another black boy from drowning, you know, it's just. They don't, to me personally, I always feel like he's going to use that information to try to train you in some way. And when he realizes that you have a mind of your own, there's no power in that. So when they don't have any power and you don't fit their agenda, then they automatically X you out. See, they have to have some type of control or power over you in order to even, sit at the table. I think one thing Richard taught you to do is to break bread with the devil and not spill a crumb off the table. That's all I gotta say.
I feel like I'm going on the next level of my success, and the universe is weeding out all the people who ain't supposed to be involved. That's just how I feel.
Well,
I don't give a
wherever way it goes, I appreciate this time with you, Studi. Like I said, I don't mean no disrespect to you. And like I said,
you the guy, you the queen,
saying,
you can't handle.
If he rewinds this, we'll see who was calling names first. I was just pointing out what the obvious was and just the facts. And so we'll see what this thing is. I give two fucks what he has to call me. That negative energy can affect me because, like I said, I'm older than what that ever species was ever brought here to do, and I'll pluck it out like a bad root.
Yeah, well, Queen, I appreciate your energy. You did nothing wrong. You spoke your opinion. He tried to challenge you. He couldn't handle it. That's just what it is. And don't feel bad. Don't think that I'm upset. Don't think that you caused anything.
That's what I worry about. I don't want to upset you because
take you out, and it would have been somebody else that upset him, and because I'm not his nigga,
or his mammy.
Remember on Roots when they sicked the black dude on the other dude, and he got caught, and he caught him, and he was in a chair talking about when you hang me, kiss my ass or whatever. That scene. He thought I was gonna be the nigga chasing after you to catch you up, and I'm nobody's nigga. Okay. Period. And actually, this is just gonna make me not fuck with white people on this channel, and they can just watch and comment. Because you're not gonna take over my space. I built this from the ground up. These are my people. These are people who came to me to build and grow. This ain't nobody else's platform. This is the Who Asked You podcast, and I'm still the I don't give a fuck. If don't nobody like it, and you can never. I just told him you can never come. You will never have to worry about coming up together. Like I don't even fuck with Jamaica like that. So you can go fuck yourself now.
You got permission to go on. He got permission to go onto your platform, and you granted him that permission. Now he's saying that now he got permission to control what you post and what you. That it doesn't work like that.
I told him
it doesn't work like that at all.
I told him I have intellectual property on those videos that you're featured on that has nothing to do with you. So no, I'm not taking them off my channel. Like, who the fuck are you to tell me to take videos down when you're featured on my show? I'm not featured on you. You came to get clout off of me. Don't ever forget.
The thing about it is that this is one problematic situation that happens in a lot of black households, where it's almost like a black man may feel some type of way, like a black woman destroys my work or my platform, so now I gotta go out and give me a Becky because that person's gonna be more humble or something like that. It happens, but some fall for it. You know what I mean? The guilt trip or the that type of tick. He has a tick in his head.
No,
Something's wrong here.
I wanted Blue to talk. I wanted Street to talk. And nobody else could get in edgewise because he just wanted to keep talking about what he wanted to. So now when I have these type of shows, I don't have to worry about that. So thank you. Like I'm not bowing down to you. I don't give a fuck. I don't need you. Like And he probably still watching now, and I hope he is, because I don't give a fuck, bro. Like, I don't care at all.
Like you don't have a brain. What's wrong with that? Like then now you're nothing without me. You know, off of it.
Like, I do all my research by
I hope
myself.
you are watching this right now,
Let
Richard.
me be real, okay? I do all my research by myself. I get all the documentation by myself. I pick the colors myself. I make my own beat. I make my own logos. I don't need no one. No one makes this. This is me. Even the times where I had co-hosts, it's always been me. I spend hours researching and putting these together and meeting people and having these panels. Don't nobody run this shit but me. And I'm not even trying to do on no clout shit because I am so humble, but don't ever think that I need anybody because I do this myself. Those 100 plus, that 100 plus lecture that I just did, that's all my work, period. I spend the time doing all the adrenochrome shit, everything that I have ever done on this channel. It's from my energy, my time, my spirit guides telling me what to teach. You can't take that away from me. Nobody can. And I'm tired of it. So go away, and nobody needs you here. Go start your own channel, do your own thing, and if you're better, it will reflect. How about that? It will let it reflect in the success.
You know he's all up in your comments right now, right?
Yeah, I know, and I don't give a fuck.
I thought you said you know what to be a brother. I thought you said you knew what it means to be a brother. Huh? You don't know. You don't know at all.
Now he's blocked, so nobody has to worry about what Rich has to say because he's blocked. Blue, is there anything you'd like to say before we end this? Because I'm really, really pissed off.
Yes, I did have 2 questions from Miss Moon. One, are you willing to share a little bit of your natal chart with us? And 2, where did you or not? Where did you get your? Well, I guess a better question would be: do you do poetry or do any kind of literature?
Oh, you're muted, Blue.
Was I just muted a second ago?
Yeah, you're muted the whole time.
Okay. All right. The first question is: are you willing to share any of your natal chart with us? And the second question is: do you do any kind of literature, poetry, etc.?
Yes. Okay. I know off the top of my head that I'm a Scorpio sun and rising, and I'm a Virgo moon. And I believe I am Sagittarius Venus. I had it all written down, but all that stuff is in Atlanta. And I am an author. I have some books. Well, I have one poetry book that's written, and I have a self-help book written. But yes, I originally wanted to be an author. Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, and this is hilarious, but that question was towards Miss Moon.
Oh, shit. I'm like, yeah, I can tell you everything now. All right, I'm about to mute myself. See?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
I
you.
have it on. I personally feel like there's stages to go through processing of birth, you know, so it's really hard for me to pinpoint just to go off the chart. But if I had to just go off the chart, I definitely have a pet peeve where I just don't tell anybody. Do you know? Because I feel like
I got you.
it's a way for people to, because I believe in the time, um, the stories of how my mom tells me how she got pregnant, when she got pregnant. I believe in the crowning point, the water breaking, the umbilical cord falling off, or when you get circumcised as well. I feel like those are parts of a attachment as well. So if you haven't been really following that and knowing those times and those dates, no, and those months as well. Um, so I feel like those things are very important to us. That, you know, even as you have a small child, you must know when the umbilical cord falls off, when you rub it around the umbilical cord with alcohol, or you keep it clean and things like that. So I guess I search deeper into it, but I really cannot tell you at all. I will never tell anybody. So, but I don't mean no disrespect. But I must say there's times where there's different gifts for different people, and some read dreams, some do, like you do, calculations of the stars, the moons, and the planet alignment. Those things are very important, especially if you work in the soil. So being in touch with nature, and also being in touch with the wind around you and the changes of the moon cycle. There's like a lot of cycles the moon goes through, but people usually count 12 phases of the moon of each month. They have their particular names. But there's just so much more I need to dig into to know exactly more than what I just connect with when it comes to the zodiac aspect. And if, like I tell everybody, if it was called something else besides the word zodiac, it definitely will not be on the internet. So it's just something I kind of keep kind of personal to me, because sometimes I do feel a little bit careful, because, you know, people find out your birthday, then go into looking for your identification. It just goes a lot more deeper. But for me personally, um, that's something I like to hone into. Something I really want to get to know a lot more better, and that's through age. You know, so that's through age.
Can I say something though? I do feel Virgo energy though. Am I wrong, Blue?
Oh, thank you.
I can neither confirm or deny.
You could feel that, yeah. What is to be, you know? You never know.
But yeah, it wasn't like a prying question. It was just to basically I was trying to
thank you.
my assumptions was right.
And someone said they were a Pisces.
Yeah, that's me.
You said Pisces, yeah. All right. Yeah.
In literature, do you do literature or poetry?
I've read poems since I was very young, and some of it didn't make sense to me at all, like the thou and all that. So I got kind of out of that. So I would sit under a tree, and that's usually where I write. I sit underneath a tree, and it comes to me, like, if I could think of a man, you know. I had some written down somewhere, but you're right. Literature. I wouldn't say I wrote a book or anything, but um, is it certain poets? Maya Angelou used to inspire me when I was very young, but I write my own poems. Like I wrote a poem about a man, how I felt like his energy was like he could walk on the moon, and just different things. Like it doesn't make sense to the average person reading it, but yeah, I do write poems, and I used to write raps back in the day. I used to rewind the tapes and use a little pen back in the day when they had tape players. I'm not that old.
Yeah,
they had tape players.
I ain't too young that I don't know that experience.
Yeah, so I love music. I love poems. I do love poetry. I feel like it tugs at me, like just to hear communicate like feelings and emotions and thoughts and experiences. I feel like that's, you know, very nice. I like that. But yeah, I do. I always like me and my friends back in the day, like especially high school, we used to sit around each other and do, you know, the clap and rhymes and you know what I mean?
Get your little poetry session going.
Yeah, you know, get our Erica Baidu thing going on, you know, and just stand up and speak up, and that really is something that's good, you know, because I started that. I would like write something, snap, you know, and then all of a sudden it just kind of stopped the girls from going out there and shaking their butts to Lil Wayne drop it like it's hot into like, you know, doing something different, you know, so yeah, so I talk too much, but
no, yeah, it's expounding.
Yeah, I think music is very important, and I love the way Studi sings. I must say that. I think I've heard a video he played of yours.
Studi got a little. He as long as he's gonna be able to sing.
Yeah, because me with the auto tune, sheesh. But actually, I'm glad. Let's end this on this note because in the near future, I'm going to be doing a lecture on sound, frequency, words, and things of that nature. So when I do that, I would love to have another discussion after. I think we can start doing that, having a discussion after the lecture. I think that would be dope.
I had some, but I had one here, but I don't want to because I'm so shy about my work. But
go ahead, spit it.
No.
Yeah, you already didn't let us know you got it ready. Sound like paper right here.
What's on the pad?
Another time, let me perfect it a little bit better because it's you know it's please.
She on
the spot now.
Look, your camera now.
Oh my! I'm panicking. It's hot in here. I can't, you know.
Well, I'll say this much.
I will sometime. I will, but don't judge me.
By the music, by the time we get to the music lecture, you got to be ready.
Oh my goodness.
So I want to say I appreciate everybody who came up on the panel, even though we had to deal with an asshole. He's gone. He'll never be on this channel ever again. He can go fuck himself. Everybody in the chat, thank you for coming. New subscribers, thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Blue, you the best. Pookie, you did your thing.
Thank you.
You banged on that wicked ass beat in my Sarah Seti voice. And I love you for that. You are amazing intellectual.
Liberation through African education.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna do what we always do and leave a love and light. Peace.
Peace and love.